Part 30. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Tien Taido. Chapter 292. Guoer, where are you? It's all my fault. Comrade police, you must help me find my daughter. I beg you. The woman kept blaming herself and begging the police, putting all her hopes on the policeman in front of her. Madam, don't worry, we will definitely help you find your daughter. The policeman said comfortingly to the woman. Immediately afterwards, the policeman used the walkie-talkie to tell the news to his colleagues on duty in the entire area, and also reported the matter to his superiors. A lost child is a big deal and everyone takes it seriously. All of a sudden, many police officers took action and started searching. Even some police comrades who were off duty also took action. Everyone, please help me find it. What a cute little girl. At the same time, many citizens in the night market who saw the scene began to search spontaneously. Many people also took the initiative to post this missing person notice in the WeChat circle of friends. Some people even opened their mobile phones, took the initiative to get the little girl's photo, and posted this message on Douyin. This lost little girl touches everyone's heart. As time passed by, more and more people helped to search, but the little girl was still not found. Guoer, where are you? Guoer, don't scare mom. Come out quickly. Fruit. Have you seen my daughter? Guoer, come out quickly. Where are you? The woman was still looking around the night market, and her emotions were on the verge of collapse. Her husband died unexpectedly 3 years ago, and her daughter was everything to her. Now that her daughter was lost, she was completely in despair. If she couldn't find it, she wouldn't want to live. Li Hao, Qin Yaking, and Linda stopped eating. When the three of them saw the woman not far away who kept asking passers-by, they felt extremely sympathetic in their hearts. I saw this woman's tears were still falling down, her face was stained, her long hair was a little scattered, she looked a little embarrassed, and she was extremely tired. She even took off her high heels and walked barefoot for convenience. Feet, causing both feet to be worn out a lot. But she didn't feel any pain at all, and she still kept asking passers-by about her daughter's whereabouts. When Qin Yaking and Linda saw this scene, they couldn't help but feel shocked. Moved by it? Haven't you found it yet? It's been so long. Qin Yaking couldn't bear it and murmured. Is nothing going to happen? Next to her, Linda also said weakly. She's so pitiful. She's just looking there alone and doesn't have any family members. She's been called to the police but they haven't been found yet. Boss, let's help her. Linda couldn't bear it anymore and said to Li Hao beside her. Yes. Li Hao, can you help her? You must have a way. Right. At this time, Qin Yaking also looked at Li Hao and said to Li Hao, with a hint of hope in her eyes. If even Li Hao couldn't do anything, I'm afraid there really would be no way. Qin Yaking inexplicably believed in Li Hao. Li Hao was a monk, so he should have some special methods, right? Li Hao rolled his eyes when he heard what the two women said. You do think highly of me. Li Hao said lightly again, and then sighed again. I have sensed it. There is no scent of her daughter within a radius of 10 miles. How come? After hearing Li Hao's words, Qin Yaking opened her eyes wide and said in disbelief. Li Hao, isn't there any special way? Look how pitiful she is. If her daughter can't be found. Qin Yaking said to Li Hao again, and then looked at the woman again. She did not finish her words. She could not imagine what would happen next if the woman could not find her daughter. Special means. Hearing Qin Yaking's words, Li Hao's eyes suddenly condensed again. It seems that I really have a special method. At this moment, Li Hao thought of the divine spell. Divine spells can create a wonderful connection with the other party through a special method. Of course, the premise is that there needs to be something that can connect with the other party, or a medium, such as his body's blood or hair. Something like that, or some other things that the other party has used that are stained with the other party's body aura, are all fine. There is a way, maybe you can try it? Li Hao said in a deep voice again. Really? Then I'll go there quickly. Hearing Li Hao's words, Qin Yaking suddenly became excited and said quickly. Boss. What can you do? Linda also asked in surprise. You'll find out later. Li Hao smiled faintly and gave it up. As a result, the three of them immediately headed towards the woman's location. Guo'er, where are you? Has anyone seen my daughter? Fruit. I saw this woman still shouting in grief and indignation, her eyes were blurred with tears, and her voice was hoarse from crying. Suddenly she moved forward to ask other people. Suddenly, she didn't notice that she stepped on a small pit. Click. The sound of crisp bones came from the woman's ankle. Immediately afterwards. Bang. The woman fell to the ground. Oh. Fall down. The people around them couldn't help but scream in surprise when they saw this scene. Apparently, the woman's ankle was twisted. The woman's expression was extremely painful, but she held it back, quickly got up, and shouted again. Fruit. Are you okay? At this time, a man with glasses, who looked to be in his 30s or 40s, came to the woman's side and asked the woman. Wei Yuelun's eyes have been fixed on this woman. This woman is wearing a skirt, with round and slender legs, a full chest, and a pitiful look with a touch of the unique charm of a young woman. Such a woman is really rare to see. She is so beautiful that it makes people feel unbearable. This made Wei Yuelun have some thoughts in his heart. Right now, this woman's daughter is lost and she is in a state of emotional breakdown. This is a rare opportunity for Wei Yuelun. Therefore, when Wei Yuelun saw the woman sprained her ankle and fell, he immediately took the initiative to greet her. Have you seen my daughter? She is wearing a white dress. She is 6 years old. Have you seen her at such a height? When the woman saw the glasses and saw the man coming next to her, she asked extremely anxiously. White dress. Do you have any photos? Let me take a look. I saw a little girl when I came here before, but I don't know if she is your daughter. Wei Yuelun's heart moved, and he suddenly said uncertainly. Ah. Have you seen it? Where is my daughter? There are photos. Please help me take a look. Hearing the words of the man with glasses, the woman's originally desperate heart suddenly felt a glimmer of hope, and she quickly took out the photos on her phone and showed them to the man. Huh? It seems a bit like that. Wei Yuelun glanced at the photo indifferently, then said in a deep voice, his eyes inadvertently looking at the woman again. In fact, he was just talking nonsense. Naturally, he had never seen any little girl, but at this moment, in order to get this woman, he could only say this. This is the time when this woman is most sad and desperate, and it is also the time when it is easiest for him to take advantage of her. Where? Where did you see it? After hearing what the man with glasses said, the woman suddenly became excited again and asked quickly. Well, over there on Jianan Road, I just passed by and saw that little girl standing there. She looks a lot like your daughter. I don't know if she is. Wei Yuelun said immediately. When the woman heard Wei Yuelun's words, she prepared to go to Jianan Road without saying a word, but she limped even while walking. Hey, beauty, wait a minute. Jianan Road is quite far, 2 or 3 miles away. My car is right here. Get in my car and I will take you there and help you find it together. Wei Yuelun saw the scene and said quickly. When the woman heard Wei Yuelun's words, she was obviously stunned and hesitated for a moment. Let me take you there and look for it together. I just found out the specific location just now. Wei Yuelun said again immediately, trying to look sincere. When the woman heard this, she no longer hesitated and nodded. Hearing that the woman agreed, Wei Yuelun couldn't help but feel excited, and a lewd smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. As long as you get into the car with him, it will be easy. He also prepared 2 bottles of mineral water, and one of the mineral water has a special potion added to it, which can make people unconscious quickly. As long as this woman takes a sip, she won't be able to play with him after that. Wei Yuelun and the woman immediately walked to his car parked on the roadside. It was an Audi, and he even took the initiative to open the passenger door for her. Some people around also saw this scene, but they only thought that the man with glasses had really seen the woman's daughter and wanted to take the woman to look for her, so they didn't think much about it. However, they didn't know that the man with glasses didn't actually have good intentions, but was planning something evil against the woman. Get in the car quickly, Wei Yuelun said to the woman in a deep voice, but he could not help but feel excited in his heart. It will be available soon. Wei Yuelun was very excited when he thought that he would be happy soon. Wait a moment. However, just when the woman was about to get into the passenger seat, a voice came from next to her. When the woman heard the sound, she immediately looked behind her and saw a young man coming here. Next to the young man, there were 2 beautiful women. It was this young man who made the sound. When Wei Yuelun saw Li Hao and the others, his eyes fell on Qin Yaking and Linda, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Damn, there are so many beautiful ones. What a pity, the cabbage was actually swallowed by that thing. Wei Yuelun looked at Li Hao lightly again and said in a deep voice. Brother, what's the matter? Did you really see her daughter? Li Hao asked in a deep voice, looking at the man with glasses coldly. Li Hao naturally saw at a glance that this guy was not well intentioned. Of course, it's just over Jianan Road. I'm going to take her to find my daughter. Sorry, if there's nothing else, we'll leave first. When Wei Yuelun saw Li Hao and Li Hao's eyes, he couldn't help but feel guilty, but he still said it bravely. It's on Jianan Road. Let's go there and look for it together. With more people and more strength, it will be easier to find. Li Hao said in a deep voice again. Ah! Hearing Li Hao's words, Wei Yuelun's face couldn't help but darken, and he looked a little embarrassed. Isn't this a good thing to harm him? If you follow him, how can he make a move? No need for that, right? Wei Yuelun said weakly. Why don't you use it? We don't have anything to do anyway. We just had barbecue to digest it. Qin Yaking next to her said again. Yes, let's come together. Let's come together. It's easier to find someone if there are more people. Linda also said. Then, without saying a word, the 2 women sat on the back seat of the Audi. Grass. When Wei Yuelun saw this scene, he couldn't help but cursed in his heart. But he had no choice but to let Li Hao and the others sit in the back seat and go to Jianan Road together. After getting in the car, Wei Yuelun inadvertently glanced at the 2 bottles of mineral water in the center console. They were placed one behind the other. The bottle in front had no medicine added, but the bottle in the back had special medicine added. As long as it was drinking a little can make people unconscious. Li Hao, who was sitting in the back seat, took in Wei Yuelun's eyes and couldn't help but condense in his heart again. Hey, brother Glasses, let me drink a bottle of this mineral water. I just ate barbecue and my mouth is a little dry. However, at this moment, Qin Yaking also noticed the 2 bottles of mineral water placed under the front center console. They had clearly not been opened and had not been drunk. She happened to feel a little thirsty after eating barbecue, and immediately faced Wei Yuelun. Said. After saying that, Qin Yaking reached out and grabbed one of the bottles of mineral water. Don't. When Wei Yuelun saw this scene, his expression suddenly changed and he shouted quickly. The bottle of mineral water this beauty took happened to be the bottle he had added medicine to. If you let the other party drink, it will be a disaster if the other party faints immediately. Therefore, Wei Yuelun wanted to prevent this from happening. Qin Yaking's hand holding the mineral water couldn't help but pause, and her expression showed a hint of doubt. What's wrong? Brother Glasses? Aren't you just drinking a bottle of water from you? I happen to be thirsty. Qin Yaking immediately said again. That bottle, I drank it? Wei Yuelun suddenly said in a deep voice, finding a reason. Have you drank it? Is it unopened? Then I'll change it to another bottle. Qin Yaking couldn't help being startled, and said weakly, and immediately changed to another bottle of mineral water. Seeing this scene, Wei Yuelun breathed a sigh of relief, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 293. Wei Yuelun felt relieved when he saw Qin Yaking picking up another bottle of mineral water, but he couldn't help but sweat breaking out on his forehead. So suspenseful. If the other party drinks it and is knocked unconscious in the car in front of so many people, it will be a big problem. Qin Yaking opened the cap of the mineral water bottle and poured it into her mouth. Li Hao, who was sitting next to Qin Yaking, saw this scene, but his heart condensed, but he didn't say anything, and a sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. I'm a little thirsty too. Brother Glasses, do you still have water? At this time, Linda asked Wei Yuelun again. She had eaten a lot of barbecue before and felt a little thirsty. No, just that bottle, the one I drank from. When Wei Yuelun heard Linda's words, his expression couldn't help but change again. He quickly held the bottle of mineral water with medicine in his hand and said immediately. Hey, Yaking, I'll drink some too. Linda sighed and immediately said to Qin Yaking. For you. Qin Yaking drank half of the bottle and then handed it to Linda. Soon, Wei Yuelun drove a few people to Jianan Road. Where is it? Where did you see my daughter before? The woman was anxious and asked Wei Yuelun again. I was at this intersection before, why didn't I see it? When Wei Yuelun heard what the woman said, he said weakly. Stop the car, I'm going down to look for it. The woman's pretty face suddenly changed color again, and her heart that had just given birth to a little hope was suddenly hit, and she said quickly. Helpless, Wei Yuelun could only stop the car and let the woman get out of the car. Let's get out of the car and look for him too. Qin Yaking immediately said to Li Hao and Linda again, and then got out of the car. Seeing this scene, Wei Yuelun's expression became very ugly again. After seeing Li Hao and the other three also getting out of the car, he said coldly. Damn, I'm a bad guy but a good thing. Wei Yuelun looked gloomy. Brother Glasses, why don't you come down and help us look for it together? But at this time, Qin Yaking's voice came again. Qin Yaking was standing beside the car. When she saw that the big-eyed brother didn't get out of the car, she immediately shouted. Come down right now, come down right now. Wei Yuelun was startled and said quickly, but he was extremely depressed. He didn't want to help this woman find a child at all. He just saw that this woman was beautiful, had a delicate figure, and was quite charming. He wanted to have a taste of this woman. Therefore, he just made up the story that he had seen the lost little girl here. Even if he got out of the car and looked around here, he couldn't find her at all. Wei Yuelun was extremely depressed, and even resented the appearance of Li Hao and the others to help him, but he did not dare to make the slightest difference in the look on his face. Damn, this is so unlucky. Wei Yuelun murmured depressedly, and got out of the car directly. Suddenly he felt that his mouth was a little dry, and he habitually picked up the mineral water that happened to be in his hand. Gila gila. Wei Yuelun poured the mineral water into his mouth as usual, and drank most of it in an instant. However, at this moment, Wei Yuelun's movements froze instantly. Wei Yuelun finally noticed something was wrong. Didn't this bottle of mineral water have a special potion added to it? Damn. Wei Yuelun's expression suddenly changed and he became extremely horrified. He cursed in his heart. Damn it! He actually drank the mineral water with medicine added to it. It was completely inadvertent and out of habit. Puff. Wei Yuelun directly squirted out the water still in his mouth. Looking at the half-dried bottle of mineral water in his hand, his face suddenly turned pale. Grass. Without saying a word, Wei Yuelun threw the remaining mineral water bottle out of his hand, then stretched out 2 fingers to dig it into his mouth and throat. Ugh. Vomit. Wei Yuelun took the initiative to make himself vomit. At this moment, he only had one thought, which was to spit out all the medicated mineral water he just drank. Brother Eyes, what's wrong with you? Why are you vomiting? Seeing this sudden scene in front of them, Qin Yaking and Linda also opened their eyes wide and said in surprise. Oh, why did you vomit for no reason? It's so disgusting. Stay away and don't vomit on us. Linda also said, even a little distance away. Li Hao next to him wanted to laugh when he saw this scene. Is this considered to be stealing chicken but losing rice? When Wei Yuelun heard what the 2 women said, he felt even more depressed and even more embarrassed. Well, I ate too much at night and got a little motion sick. I'm sorry that I made these 2 beauties laugh and vomited. It's okay, I'll just spit it out. Wei Yuelun said immediately. Immediately, he put his finger into his throat again. Ugh. Vomit. Suddenly, the sounds of vomiting were heard coming from Wei Yuelun's mouth again. Li Hao, let's go help find the little girl. At this time, Qin Yaking said to Li Hao again. No rush. Li Hao said calmly. Why are you not in a hurry? Li Hao, didn't you say you have a special way? Please help her. Qin Yaking said anxiously and in surprise. Well. Call her to stop. Li Hao heard Qin Yaking's words and nodded immediately. This woman's daughter has been lost for so long. Every night there may be more variables. This is a matter of this woman's whole life. If she is really not found, if you do, you will live with guilt and regret for the rest of your life. Sister, please wait. Qin Yaking immediately shouted to the woman again. I want to find my daughter. The woman immediately said impatiently, staying not far away for a minute or a second. However, at this time, next to the Audi, Wei Yuelun vomited for a long time. He thought he had vomited out all the mineral water he had just drank, and he should have vomited out the medicine as well. But it turns out that he still miscalculated and underestimated the powerful effect of the medicine she added. Suddenly, Wei Yuelun felt a dizzy feeling in his head. Not good. Wei Yuelun secretly said something bad and immediately rubbed his head, but the next moment. Bang! A dull voice suddenly sounded. Wei Yuelun's figure fell down. Ah! Why did this guy with glasses faint? What's wrong with him? When Qin Yaking and Linda saw this scene, they exclaimed again. Li Hao, do you want to fight the demon 20? Qin Yaking asked Li Hao. Need not. However, Li Hao said calmly. Ah! Will he be okay? Why did he faint suddenly? Qin Yaking asked again, not quite sure. No. You deserve it even if you die. Li Hao still said in a deep voice. Ah! Boss, what are you doing? Hearing Li Hao's words, Linda next to her was also stunned, and looked at Li Hao in surprise, not believing that Li Hao could be such a person. However, immediately after, Li Hao said in a deep voice. He brought it on himself. If my prediction is correct, there should be something added to his bottle of mineral water. If you drink it, it can make people comatose. As soon as Li Hao's words came out, the expressions of Qin Yaking and Linda suddenly became condensed again. What? Linda's eyes widened in disbelief. Is there something added to the mineral water? What is it? Qin Yaking asked again doubtfully, but as soon as she asked the question, her eyes suddenly widened as she thought of what else could it be that could make people unconscious after drinking it? The answer is self-evident. Li Hao, you mean he added magic to the water? Li Hao nodded directly. Then how can I be fine if I drink? Qin Yaking was puzzled again and asked in a deep voice. That's because you didn't add any water to your bottle. Do you still remember what he looked like when you had that bottle of water before? If you fainted immediately after drinking it, wouldn't something immediately go wrong? Li Hao said in a deep voice again. Hearing Li Hao's words, Qin Yaking suddenly thought of it. Yes, I wanted to drink that bottle before, and he said he had drunk it. I remember that the bottle was clearly unopened. Qin Yaking suddenly realized that she thought of the abnormal scene of the man with glasses before. What I'm saying is that this guy doesn't look like a good person. What does he want to do with such a thing in the car? Qin Yaking frowned and said sternly again, with a hint of anger in her voice. What else can you do? Of course he is doing bad things. If I expected it right, he was originally going to give her this bottle of mineral water. Li Hao said in a deep voice again, pointing at the woman not far in front of him, with a hint of certainty in his voice. Next to her, Linda heard another scream. Oh, my God, he is so despicable and shameless. Linda immediately said with hatred, but she still had some doubts. But why did he drink it by himself? Maybe he accidentally forgot about it? Didn't you see that he just drank it and was still digging hard? He probably wanted to spit out the water he drank, but what he didn't expect was that the medicine is still effective. Li Hao said directly again. Ha ha ha, I'm just telling you. He actually paid for it himself. It's so funny. I knocked myself out. Qin Yaking and Linda couldn't help laughing when they heard Li Hao's words. This was the first time they encountered such a thing. How is this possible? You mean, he was planning to drug me? But the woman was a little surprised and didn't believe it when she heard Li Hao's words. That's right. It should be the three of us who disrupted his plan. Li Hao nodded and said directly. How is this possible? The woman still didn't quite believe it. Haha, his mineral water bottles are still there. If you don't believe it, just pick it up and check it out and you will know. Li Hao said calmly. I'm going to find my daughter. But the woman added that she had no time to do anything else and just wanted to find her daughter. After saying that, the woman stepped forward to leave and go to look for her daughter nearby. But at this moment, your daughter is not here. However, Li Hao's voice spread directly and fell into the ears of this woman. What did you say? My daughter is not here. The woman immediately turned around again, her face became a little pale, her whole body seemed to have been hit hard, her face was pale, her body was even weak, and she seemed to be unsteady. How could it be? How could this happen? The woman didn't want to believe it, and there was a trace of sadness and despair in her eyes. Whether you believe it or not, that's the truth. Li Hao said in a deep voice again, but what he said made the woman tremble in her heart. Guo'er, where are you? Fruit. The woman shouted in pain again, her spirit was shaken and weak, her head went blank, and a feeling of dizziness came over her instantly. Immediately afterwards, the woman could not stand firmly and sat down on the ground again. Guo'er, it's all Mom's fault. Mom shouldn't have left you alone outside the toilet. Whoa, where are you, Guo'er? The woman's emotions collapsed to the extreme, and her tears kept falling. When Li Hao saw this scene, he was also moved by it. He couldn't help but feel something in his heart. This was a desperate mother. This woman was so desperate and helpless at this moment. Li Hao, look at her like this. You should think of a way. Qin Yaking couldn't stand it anymore and couldn't help but said to Li Hao again. Yes. Boss, You are so powerful. Didn't you just say there was something you could do? Linda also said from the side. Don't worry, as long as I'm here, you will definitely find it. Seeing the appearance of the two women, Li Hao said in a deep voice, but there was a touch of strong confidence in his voice. The next moment, Li Hao walked directly towards the woman in front of him, came straight in front of the woman, and then squatted down. Stop crying, I will definitely help you find your daughter. Li Hao said directly to the woman who was crying in front of him. After hearing Li Hao's words, the woman looked at Li Hao and saw the sincerity in the eyes of the young man in front of her, but her tears were still falling. Do you have anything belonging to your daughter on you? It's best if it's used. Li Hao asked directly to the woman again. The woman looked at Li Hao in confusion again, with confusion in her eyes. She didn't know why the young man in front of her asked this. If you have any, let me use it. This is related to the whereabouts of your daughter. Don't you want to find your daughter? I heard Li Hao say seriously again. Can a rubber band be used? My daughter has tied her hair. When the woman heard Li Hao's words, she couldn't help but feel shocked. Although she couldn't help but wonder what Li Hao was going to do, she still said weakly, then raised one hand, wearing a rubber band on her wrist to tie her hair. Can? Li Hao nodded. Immediately, the woman took off the rubber band from her wrist and handed it to Li Hao. Li Hao took the rubber band and his heart condensed. Then, under the gaze of the three women, he placed the rubber band in the palm of his hand, then clasped his hands together and sandwiched the rubber band between them. The next moment, on Li Hao's body, the power of cultivation began to circulate, and a strange power was immediately unleashed. Divine spell. You can establish contact with the other party through this rubber band and find out the whereabouts of the other party. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 294. Li Hao directly activated his cultivation power, and a strange power suddenly spread from Li Hao's body. The next moment, Li Hao opened his closed palms again. The rubber band was placed on the palm of Li Hao's left hand, but Li Hao's right hand kept drawing some strange lines in the void. There was a spiritual light shining on Li Hao's fingers. Immediately afterwards, Li Hao directly drew a circle around the rubber band on the palm of his left hand. Divine spell. Li Hao started to use it directly. Drawing a circle is not a curse, or it cannot be called a curse. Li Hao only established a connection with the other party through this divine spell, and this connection was not limited by distance at all. Li Hao closed his eyes again. Buzz. Invisibly, there is an extremely strange power. It is the power of this divine spell, centered on this rubber band, spreading in all directions, and the aura that the little girl should have had on the rubber band seems to be there. Invisibly, it became a guiding light. What is the boss doing? He looks so sophisticated. At this time, Linda next to her saw this scene, her beautiful eyes widened with a touch of strangeness in her eyes. It should be some special means being used. Although Qin Yaking didn't know what Li Hao was doing, her intuition told her that Li Hao should be using some special means. You know, Li Hao is a powerful monk, and she has become a monk. How could there not be some special means? What about means? At this moment, Qin Yaking had an inexplicable belief in Li Hao. If even Li Hao couldn't do anything, then there really was nothing he could do. When the woman next to her saw this scene, she also had deep doubts in her eyes. She didn't know what the young man in front of her was doing. She didn't dare to say or ask. Apart from trusting this young man, she had no other choice. A few more breaths passed. Li Hao's eyes suddenly opened, and a sharp light suddenly appeared in his eyes. As Li Hao casts the magic spell, he can track the opponent's whereabouts thousands of miles away. At this moment, from a place more than 30 kilometers away in the west, Li Hao noticed a breath that was the same as the breath on the rubber band. It was undoubtedly the lost little girl. A touch of connection was created between Li Hao and the other party. Li Hao's face turned cold again. It had only been less than an hour, but the other party was already more than 30 kilometers away, and Li Hao could clearly feel that the other party was getting further and further away. This is obviously not something that a little girl of several years old can do. This little girl should have been taken away by bad guys. At the same time, on more than 30 kilometers of national highway, a Toyota Prado was speeding along. "Mom, Mom, I want Mom." A little girl was crying and being held tightly by a dark-skinned man. No matter how hard she struggled, she could not break free from the man's arm. "Stop crying. We are just going to find your mother for you." There were 3 people in the car, and all 3 of them had dark skin, perhaps because of too much Sunday. Another thin man sitting in the passenger seat said again, "Mom, Mom, I want my mother. You are bad people. I don't want to be with you." But the little girl still kept crying. "Damn, it's so noisy. I've been crying all the way." "Don't cry. If you cry again, I'm going to hit you." The man holding the little girl yelled at the little girl again. "I want my mother, I want my mother." However, the little girl was still very young and couldn't listen at all, and she still kept crying. "Tashi, please shut up this little girl and be careful. Just enter Zhang." At this time, another man driving the car suddenly said in a deep voice, among the 3 of them, "This guy was very strong." "That's right, I just checked my phone. The whole Jiangbei is looking for this girl. She has been on the news and posted on Douyin. The police are also looking for her, but it's hard to be discovered." The thin man in the passenger seat also said immediately, "Well, we just need to go into the mountains. Fortunately, we are very fast and have already left the city. As long as we pay attention, nothing will happen. As long as we get this little girl over, we can get 500,000. The strong man in the driver's seat suddenly said again. The man named Tashi nodded immediately, and then shouted sharply at the little girl. "Stop crying. If you cry again, I'll kill you. I'll throw you to feed the wolves and dogs." "Whoa, I don't want to feed the wolf dog. I want my mother. I want my mother. You are a bad person, please let me go." The little girl was still struggling and calling for her mother. The next moment, the little girl bit Tashi directly on the arm. "Ah! Damn it!" Tashi screamed immediately and looked at the little girl in his arms angrily. "Damn it, you actually dare to bite me." Tashi became furious, and the little girl bit him with a deep mark on his arm. "Pa!" Tashi had a bad temper, so he slapped the little girl on the face, causing a crisp slap in the face. The little girl's body was knocked to the side. Cruel. This Tashi's attack was unusually cruel. The little girl couldn't bear it at all and was knocked unconscious by the slap. The little girl's originally pink face was hit directly and a huge red mark was left, which soon swelled up. Zaxi, you hit her so hard. She is just a child. If she is beaten to death, we will be miserable. This is 500,000 yuan. Seeing this scene, the thin man in the passenger seat couldn't help but say. "Bai Tuo, don't talk about me, you didn't get bitten. You are much more ruthless than me when you start to fight." Zaxi said in a deep voice again. "Just beat her. As long as she is not killed. It's good that she is unconscious now, at least she is quiet." At this time, the man driving the car said again. Hearing this man talking, the other 2 did not say anything more. The whole car suddenly became quiet. However, in the next moment, the little girl who was originally unconscious actually sat up again. Didn't she faint? What happened? Dot. The three people in the car were also shocked when they saw this scene. They saw that the little girl didn't cry anymore. There was a red light in her eyes. I advise you to let me go. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. The next moment, the little girl looked at the three people first and said in a mechanical voice. This sentence didn't sound like a little girl in her 50s or 60s, but the childish voice reached the ears of the three people, and they couldn't help but jump in their hearts. After the little girl finished speaking, she actually fell down directly. This scene was like suddenly standing up and talking in her sleep. What's going on? What happened to this girl just now? You scared me, I thought I was possessed by that thing. The three people immediately talked to each other. Is it really that thing that's possessed me? Several of them are so creepy. Dot. The three of them were suddenly a little scared, and their backs felt a little cold. But the three of them were all grown men, so it was impossible for them to be scared by what happened just now. They comforted themselves again. Are we going to be unlucky? How is that possible? We should have good luck. With this 500,000 yuan, we can enjoy ourselves for a while. Yeah. What the boss said is right. However, the three of them just finished speaking. On the road illuminated by the lights ahead, several black shadows suddenly appeared. It's a wild boar. The man in the driver's seat suddenly looked pale, and the two people beside him, Baituo and Zaxi, also looked terrified. Brother! Get out of the way! The sturdy man driving the car instinctively turned the steering wheel to the side, trying to avoid it. However, bang! A dull sound suddenly rang out, and the Prado driven by the three of them suddenly stopped. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Big brother, brake quickly. Brake quickly. I want to brake too. Then, there was another ear-piercing brake sound, accompanied by screams. Ah! Ah! Bang! The next moment, the speeding Prado directly crashed through the guardrail and flipped into a ditch on the side. The scene was a mess. The huge impact broke the windows and doors of the Prado, and even deformed them. The three people in the car were directly injured. The man in the driver's seat had blood on his face and was in a state of collapse. What a bad luck! It really fits what the little girl said just now. On Jianan Road, Li Hao opened his eyes, but there was a sharp light in his eyes. The scene that just happened was the result of Li Hao's magic spell. Li Hao did not expect that this magic spell was so powerful. It was cast at such a long distance, but it still had such a magical effect. Li Hao, what's wrong? At this time, Qin Yaking next to him saw Li Hao open his eyes and immediately asked Li Hao again. Yes, boss, what's wrong? Linda also asked. As for the woman, she also looked at Li Hao with hope at this moment, as if looking at a life-saving straw. Found it, in the west. More than 30 kilometers away. And it's still going west. Li Hao heard what Qin Yaking and the others said, and immediately said in a deep voice. Ah! Really? That's great. Then let's go quickly. Boss, did you really find it? Hearing Li Hao's words, Qin Yaking and Linda said again. What? My daughter is in the west? Really? Where exactly is she? Please, take me to find her. The woman couldn't help but shudder when she heard what Li Hao said. She immediately grabbed the life-saving straw and begged Li Hao. Don't worry. I will take you to find her. Li Hao looked at the woman again, and his heart was moved. This is a mother. No matter what, Li Hao will help her find her daughter. Let's go, get in the car. Li Hao said directly to the three people, and while speaking, he had already taken the car keys from the guy lying on the ground who was knocked unconscious by himself. Ah! Boss, get in this car. Linda asked Li Hao in surprise. Otherwise. Go to drive mine? That's a waste of time. Li Hao said directly in a deep voice. Li Hao, what about this guy? Qin Yaking asked Li Hao again. But this time. It's over, it's over. The sound of a police car sounded, and a police car came to the side of several people and stopped directly. Two policemen got out of the car, a man and a woman. The male policeman was handsome, and the female policeman was handsome and dashing. Seeing these two policemen, Li Hao couldn't help but have a look of surprise in his eyes. I saw these two policemen coming in front of Li Hao and the others. The female policeman among them looked at Li Hao, and a look of surprise suddenly appeared in her beautiful eyes. Li Hao, why are you here? When the female police officer saw Li Hao, her eyes widened and she said in disbelief. Xiao Yao Yao had already returned home from get off work, but she heard the news about the missing girl. She immediately changed into her uniform and went out to the street. She wanted to help the woman whose child was lost find her daughter. She just met a colleague who said that the missing girl, the child's parents, were on Jianan Road, so she rushed here immediately. But what Xiao Yao Yao didn't expect was that Li Hao was actually here. What a coincidence! Why is this guy everywhere? Xiao Yao Yao couldn't help but have such thoughts in her heart. What a coincidence! Officer Xiao? Am I not helping this lady find her daughter? When Li Hao saw the Xiao Yao Yao, he immediately smiled and said. Officer Xiao, you came just in time. This guy on the ground is not a good person. He just said that there was news of a missing girl here, and tricked this lady into getting into the car to come here, but he unkindly put a special potion in the mineral water. Fortunately, we stopped him. Let's arrest him quickly and investigate him carefully. Li Hao said immediately and got into the car directly again. This car belongs to this guy on the ground. I know where the little girl is now. Let's borrow it for a while. Let's go first. As Li Hao's voice fell, Qin Yakin, Linda and the woman also got into the car. Xiao Yao Yao was suddenly stunned when she heard Li Hao's words. What is this and what? Just when Xiao Yao Yao was a little confused, Li Hao had already started the car and started driving with the three girls in it. Before Xiao Yao Yao could say anything, the other party had already gone far away and only saw the butt of the car. Hateful! When Xiao Yao Yao saw this scene, she stamped her feet in anger. Look at this guy. Have someone take him back to the police station. Give me the car keys. Xiao Yao Yao immediately said to the man next to her. Then without saying a word, while the man was also in a dazed state, he directly took the car keys from the man's hand, then opened the driver's door and got in. Buzz. Start the engine and chase the car in front of Li Hao and others. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 295. Li Hao took the three women and drove westward. But behind this car, a policeman was following closely. It was the policewoman Xiao Yao Yao. Li Hao glanced at the rearview mirror lightly and saw the police car following him, but Li Hao ignored it. Li Hao drove very fast, and in a short time, he had already traveled several kilometers. Li Hao, where are you? Next to him, Qin Yaking asked Li Hao again. Yes, boss. How far is it? Why haven't we arrived yet? Then Linda also asked herself. Li Hao was speechless and immediately rolled his eyes and said. Didn't I just say that? It's more than 30 kilometers. It's not that fast. Well. Then drive faster. The little girl won't be snatched away by the bad guys, right? Qin Yaking nodded immediately and said in a deep voice. What if? Li Hao said directly again. Ah. After hearing Li Hao's words, the expressions of Qin Yaking, Linda, and the woman next to them suddenly changed. Was my daughter kidnapped by human traffickers? Especially that woman, her complexion suddenly became a little pale again at this moment, and she became even more scared inside. Is there any danger to Guo'er? My Guo'er, it's all my fault. The woman's tears kept falling and she kept blaming herself. Seeing the woman's appearance and the worry in her eyes, Li Hao said in a deep voice again. Don't worry. She won't be in any danger. I promise. Li Hao's voice was filled with determination and strong self-confidence. Boss, if it's a human trafficker, the other person should be driving too? Can we catch up like this? It's more than 30 kilometers away. But at this time, Linda next to her asked Li Hao again. Linda thought of a serious problem. Since the other party caught the little girl, it couldn't be walking, right? They must have been driving, and they had already driven more than 30 kilometers. No matter how fast they drove, it would not be easy to catch up, right? However, after hearing Linda's words, Li Hao said seriously again. They can't run away. Li Hao didn't say why, but he was full of strong self-confidence, which made the three women feel an inexplicable sense of peace of mind. Finally, Li Hao drove the Audi car all the way west, out of Jiangbei, and then onto a national highway. This national highway is the only way to go from Jiangbei to Zhang district. Along the way, Li Hao, Qin Yaking, and Linda also got to know each other a little bit with this woman. This woman's name is Zhou Yu, and she is a single mother. Her husband died in an accident 3 years ago, and then she was left alone to depend on her daughter. And her daughter is called Suguo'er. Another half an hour later. Li Hao, can my daughter be found? This woman named Zhou Yu couldn't help but ask Li Hao again. Her eyes were dull and she had no energy when looking at the mountains. She was already very tired. At this moment, she was only supported by the thought of finding her daughter. Otherwise, she might have collapsed long ago. Of course. Isn't that right? It'll be there soon. Li Hao said in a deep voice again. The next moment, Li Hao stopped the car directly. Immediately afterwards, Li Hao got out of the car, and the three women also got out of the car. Under night. Not far away, a car rolled over in a ditch beside the road. Beside the car, stood two men. Both men had some injuries on their bodies and looked a little embarrassed. But at this moment, these two people were prying the driver's door that had been crushed and deformed. There was also a man in the driver's seat who was trapped inside by the deformed door. There was blood on his face and he couldn't get out. Next to the two of them, there was a little girl lying. She didn't appear to be injured, but she was unconscious. Damn it, please try harder. I lost a lot of blood. The man who was squeezed in the driver's seat actually kept shouting at the two of them. Brother, please try harder. The man named Tashi said directly again. Yes. Brother. Come on, try harder. Finally, with the efforts of Tashi and Baituo, the man trapped in the driver's seat was pulled out by the two of them. This man was also their eldest brother, and his name was Leikuo. Brother, are you okay? Tashi asked Leikuo. It's okay, my hand is broken. The man named Leikuo immediately said that he couldn't move his arm, and if nothing else happened, it must have been broken. Damn, you're so unlucky. Leikuo couldn't help but said again. Yes. Brother. Damn it, why did a group of wild boars suddenly come out? How unlucky. Tashi and Baituo also said, both of them looked a little unhappy. Brother, what should we do now? The car seems to be unable to move. With the three of us, we definitely can't do it. Even if we do, we won't be able to open it. Call some people to pick us up. It was such a deep ditch, and their Prado was very heavy. It was impossible for three people to lift it. The only way was to call someone. That's when Tashi and the other two saw a car parked on the road not far away. Opposite. Li Hao pointed here and said in a deep voice to Zhou Yu. Your daughter, right there. When Zhou Yu heard Li Hao's words, she couldn't help but look shocked. The next moment, Zhou Yu also noticed the off-road vehicle that had the accident, and then looked at the three men. There was a little girl in a white skirt lying next to them. Even in the dark of night, it was so dazzling in Zhou Yu's eyes. Guo'er, Guo'er. My Guo'er. Zhou Yu suddenly screamed and became extremely excited. She was really her daughter. Even though it was not clear in the night, she recognized her at a glance. But it was her daughter who had been missing for more than an hour. No, not lost. Her daughter was clearly abducted by the three people in front of her. Zhou Yu didn't have time to think about why the other party got into a car accident. At this moment, she just wanted to hold her daughter tightly in her arms. The next moment, Zhou Yu rushed forward directly. When the three men saw this scene, their expressions also changed. Did the other party find them so quickly? Get away! The man who added Tashi stood up and shouted fiercely at Zhou Yu, who rushed over. Immediately afterwards, Zhou Yu was pushed back and sat down on the ground, but she quickly got up and rushed towards the three of them again. Court death! That Tashi shouted angrily again, and another powerful force started to circulate in his body, hitting Zhou Yu directly again. Zhou Yu spurted out a mouthful of blood and was thrown heavily to the ground again. Zhou Yu suffered a heavy blow. She clutched her chest and struggled to get up, still shouting her daughter's name. Guo'er. Sister Yu, are you okay? When Qin Yaking saw this scene, she couldn't help but rush to Zhou Yu's side, helped Zhou Yu up from the ground, and asked in a deep voice. I'm fine. My fruit is right there. It's them. It's them who took away my fruit. Zhou Yu pointed at the three of them and said angrily, anyone who sees his daughter being snatched away by the other party will do the same. Li Hao, help her. Qin Yaking said to Li Hao again. Yes, boss, please help her. Linda next to her also said to Li Hao. Please, help me. Even Zhou Yu looked at Li Hao with a look of begging. Li Hao waved his hand. All right. However, Li Hao didn't wait for him to step forward. It's over, it's over. But at this moment, the siren of a police car sounded again, and the expressions of the three people suddenly changed. I saw a police car parked nearby. Brother, no, the police are here. Yes, brother. What should we do now? Both Tashi and Bai Tuo had a look of fear on their faces, and they couldn't help but ask their eldest brother Leikuo. Immediately afterwards, a woman wearing a police uniform got out of the police car. It's just a policeman, what are you afraid of? When Leikuo saw that only one policeman came down, he suddenly said in a deep voice. Li Hao, what are you doing here? Xiao Yao Yao got out of the car and immediately asked Li Hao again. Officer Xiao, why are you following me? Li Hao glanced at Xiao Yao Yao indifferently, and then said directly. See for yourself, that little girl is her daughter. What? When Xiao Yao Yao heard Li Hao's words, she was suddenly shocked. Her eyes fell on the three people in front and the unconscious girl next to them. Then, a look of vigilance suddenly appeared on Xiao Yao Yao's face. In this way, the little girl was taken away by the three people in front of her. In other words, are the three men in front of me human traffickers? Xiao Yao Yao couldn't help but condense in her heart. She was really right to follow her. If he caught these three guys, it would be a great achievement. Maybe he could find some clues to other cases. There are more than 1 or 2 missing children in Jiangbei. Maybe there is a huge vicious force behind it? Okay. So it's here. You three, don't move. Without saying a word, Xiao Yao Yao directly pulled out the gun from her waist, then aimed at the three of them and shouted sternly. The three of them were also shocked when they saw this scene. Hands up! Xiao Yao Yao said loudly again. Suddenly, the three people quickly raised their hands. Brother, there is a gun. The Bichuo said weakly. Yes, brother, What should we do now? Tashi also said to Leikuo, in front of the gun, even the warrior can't bear it. Isn't it just a gun? What's there to be afraid of? Don't panic, just look at me. That Leikuo immediately said again, but on the surface he still raised his hands, looking like he was surrendering. Turn around. Xiao Yao Yao said to the three people again, took out 2 pairs of handcuffs directly from the car, and then walked towards the 3 people. She brought 2 pairs of handcuffs, and now she could only handcuff 2 people first. The 3 people turned around very obediently. When Xiao Yao Yao saw this scene, she relaxed her vigilance a little, took the handcuffs and walked directly towards the 3 of them, came to their side, and prepared to handcuff the 3 of them directly. When Li Hao saw this scene, he didn't say anything, but he couldn't help but sigh again. Well. Li Hao just sighed, just when Xiao Yao Yao was about to roast him. Suddenly, the leading man named Leikuo suddenly turned around and knocked down Xiao Yao Yao, who was holding the pistol. Shocking change. The gun in Xiao Yao Yao's hand was knocked out by a strong force. Her expression changed and she instinctively wanted to pick it up, but she felt a pair of hands directly grab her neck and strangle her neck tightly. A feeling of suffocation suddenly filled Xiao Yao Yao's heart, and a huge fear arose in Xiao Yao Yao's heart. She struggled, but she couldn't break free from the opponent's hand. Too bad. Xiao Yao Yao never thought that when she was a police officer and had a gun, the other party would dare to resist. Not only would her pistol be shot, but she would also choke her to death. Ah! Seeing this scene, Linda and Qin Yaking screamed one after another. You can't even hold a gun. What kind of policeman are you talking about? Haha. At this time, Leikuo sneered again, picked up the pistol on the ground, and then let go of Xiao Yao Yao's neck. Don't move. If I move, I'll kill you first and then kill you too. Leikuo held the pistol and said sternly to Xiao Yao Yao and Li Hao. In his opinion, there was a boy and a few weak women across from them, and they did not pose any threat to them at all. Boss. Linda was startled again and shouted weakly from the side. Li Hao. What should we do now? Qin Yaking's pretty face changed color slightly and asked Li Hao. Are you a monk? Yaking, what are you afraid of with a pistol? When Li Hao heard Qin Yaking's words, he was extremely speechless and stared at Qin Yaking. Ah, yes, I seem to be a monk. Qin Yaking was stunned for a moment, and then she realized that she seemed to be a monk, but for a moment, she didn't know what to do. But what should I do? Li Hao. Forget it, let me do it. Immediately, Li Hao looked at the 3 people in front of him calmly, and a cold voice suddenly came out of Li Hao's mouth. Are you going to apologize on your own or should I take action? Li Hao's voice was cold, but full of doubt. And it also exudes strength. Extremely powerful. At this moment, the expressions of Leikuo and the other 3 people could not help but freeze. This is not taking them seriously at all. You know, they still have guns in their hands. Haha. Are you an idiot? You actually want us to apologize on our own? Are you looking for death? Brother, just kill this guy, right? When Tashi and Bai Tuo heard Li Hao's words, they immediately sneered. As for Leikuo, he was staring at Li Hao closely at this moment and said coldly. I really don't know where you got the courage. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 296. I really don't know where you got the courage from. Leikuo said coldly to Li Hao. In his opinion, the young man in front of him was really arrogant and wanted the 3 of them to apologize on their own. They had never encountered such an arrogant person before. The next moment, Leikuo saw this young man walking towards him step by step. Are you looking for death? If you take another step forward, I will kill you. When Leikuo saw this scene, his brows suddenly furrowed, and he said sternly to Li Hao again, directly raising his gun and pointing it at Li Hao, looking fierce. Really a fanatic. Not only did he snatch the policeman's gun, but he also wanted to kill someone at this moment. Boss, be careful. When Linda saw this scene, she couldn't help but said to Li Hao, her beautiful eyes filled with worry. Li Hao, don't come over, they will really kill you. At this moment, even Xiao Yao Yao said to Li Hao. Her pretty face was a little pale. Unexpectedly, the other party was not even afraid of the police and even snatched her gun. This was a heinous crime. It's her fault too, she was careless. He actually gave the other party an opportunity to take advantage of it. Even Zhou Yu had a hint of worry in her eyes. Her daughter was there, but she was unable to protect the girl in her arms. The young man in front of her was his life-saving straw. Damn, he is the only one who dares to take care of my affairs. Sure enough, after a disaster, there will be blessings. These women are prepared for our brothers. Zhen Zhen Zhen, you are so beautiful. So many of them are put together. Brother, kill this guy. As for these women, let's take them back to the village. But at this time, Tashi and Bai Tuo spoke out again, and their eyes fell on the women around them, with an obvious desire in their eyes, which was extremely hot. Including the policeman, there were 4 women, and they were all very beautiful. This was a good thing that Tashi and Bai Tuo had never encountered before. The two of them suddenly felt at ease with what they saw in front of them. A few girls came up with some ideas. It's best to just kill this extra guy without stopping. When Nalekyo heard what the two said, his brows wrinkled slightly. Although he also had some thoughts about these women, he was still unwilling to kill anyone unless absolutely necessary. How about you come? Lekyo said directly to Tashi again that the person who asked him to kill the young man in front of him just now was Tashi. Brother, should you do this? I'm a little scared. But when he heard Lekyo's voice, Tashi was instantly frightened. It's no use. Lekyo said coldly, and turned all his attention to the young man in front of him, with a cold edge in his eyes. If he really wanted to seek death, then he would not be blamed. He. But at this time, Li Hao suddenly laughed again. Why are you laughing? Nalekyo actually laughed when he saw Li Hao, his brows sank again, and he said coldly. Suddenly, I heard Li Hao say calmly again. What kind of courage does it take to deal with trash like you? It's as easy as crushing an ant. Li Hao's words were filled with a touch of calmness, as if he didn't take the 3 of them seriously at all. Damn it, will you die for me? When the 3 Nalekyo people heard Li Hao's words, their expressions suddenly became extremely ugly. They instantly felt extremely angry. Lekyo said sharply again, with murderous intent in their eyes, and they were ready to pull the trigger in their hands. I want to punch a hole in the head of the guy in front of me. However, at this time. However, the 3 Lekyo people saw that the young man actually took a step forward again. At this moment, an unparalleled momentum suddenly emerged and fell on the 3 of them instantly. At this moment, the space seemed to be frozen. They were shocked to find that their bodies seemed to be restrained and they could no longer move. Every cent. Even Nalekyo couldn't pull the trigger of the pistol. How is this possible? Lekyo murmured, and a turbulent wave arose in his heart. At this moment, Li Hao directly activated his cultivation power. The powerful cultivation momentum instantly oppressed the entire world. All the spiritual energy and air in this space were under Li Hao's control. A smile appeared on the corner of Li Hao's mouth, and then he took another step directly. And that's when Li Hao took the step. Boom! There was a huge roar throughout the space, resounding like thunder. Bang! Immediately afterwards, the bodies of Nalekyo, Tashi, and Bai Tuo flew out heavily, as if they had been hit hard. Blood spurted out from the mouths of the 3 people at the same time, and fell to the ground not far away. It was extremely miserable. The eyes of the three of them were full of horror and even despair. "Monk. Are you a monk?" That Lakeo pointed at Li Hao and said with a shocked expression. "Monk? How is this possible?" When Tashi and Tashi heard Lakeo's words, they couldn't believe it. Indeed. If the opponent is a monk, then trampling them to death is really as easy as trampling to death an ant. When Li Hao saw this scene, a disdainful sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. "Brother, we were wrong. Can you let us go?" At this time, after Lakeo knew that the other party was a monk, he immediately begged Li Hao for mercy. "Yes, we were wrong, please let us go. We were wrong." Tashi and Baituo also quickly begged for mercy. He. When Li Hao saw this scene, he sneered again. "Is it wrong to know now?" "Sorry, it's too late." Li Hao said coldly again. "There is no reason for such people and they should be suppressed directly. Moreover, these three people are human traffickers. They have harmed many children. How can they be spared? It is simply an unpardonable crime." Boom. Without saying a word, Li Hao released another powerful force of cultivation. The next moment, Li Hao pointed directly at the three of them. Puff. In the void, there seemed to be a finger force that directly hit the foreheads of the three of them. The three of them immediately spurted out a large mouthful of blood, passed out, and were directly crippled by Li Hao. Although he is not dead yet, he can no longer do bad things, and even his limbs cannot move. "Officer Xiao, the three of them are no longer a threat. I leave it to you." After doing all this, Li Hao said to Xiao Yao Yao, who was stunned on the ground. "Huh? When Xiao Yao Yao heard Li Hao's words, she was suddenly startled again, and her heart was extremely trembling. She didn't expect that this guy with a complex face whom she had seen several times could be so powerful. Xiao Yao Yao's beautiful eyes had a glint of light. Fruit. At this time, when Zhou Yu saw the three people being beaten unconscious by Li Hao, she immediately rushed towards the little girl lying on the ground. Guo'er. Guo'er, wake up. Mom is here. Mom is here. What's wrong with you? Zhou Yu directly hugged the little girl in his arms and kept talking. Seeing that the little girl was not awake yet, and there was a huge red and swollen palm mark on one side of her face, Zhou Yu suddenly felt heartbroken, and her face the tears kept falling down again. When Li Hao saw this scene, he came directly to Zhou Yu's side. Li Hao squatted down, held the little girl's hand, and injected a touch of spiritual power directly into the little girl's body. Immediately afterwards, the injuries on the little girl's face recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. The next moment, the little girl opened her round eyes. "Ah! Mom! Mom!" The little girl opened her eyes dimly and saw her mother's face, and then she became excited. "Mom, Mom, don't leave me. Mom, I'm so scared. The bad uncle beat me. They don't want me to go find you." The little girl kept talking and hugged her mother tightly. "Guo'er, don't be afraid. Mom is here. Mom will never leave you. She will never leave you. Mom will stay with you." Zhou Yu also held the little girl tightly in her arms and kept talking, with incomparable determination in her voice. What a touching scene. Finally, found it? How touching. That's great. When Qin Yaking and others saw this scene, a touch of emotion appeared on their faces, and they said happily. The little girl was finally found and returned to her mother's arms again. "Come on, Guo'er, call me uncle. It was uncle who saved you from the bad guys. Let mom find you." After a while, Zhou Yu released the little girl from his arms and said to the little girl again. "Uncle." The little girl looked at Li Hao with her dark eyes, and shouted to Li Hao obediently. "Yeah. Be good." Li Hao also nodded and responded. Uncle, did you beat the bad guys away? The little girl asked Li Hao again. Yes. Li Hao said with a grin. Wow, uncle, you are so awesome. Are you a hero? Seeing Li Hao's confirmation, the little girl exclaimed again and praised Li Hao. Children are like this. Soon the rain will pass and the sky will clear up. At this moment, this girl seems to have completely forgotten the scary things that happened before. Li Hao couldn't help but be stunned. A great hero. Well, that should be it. Li Hao nodded again. But I heard the little girl getting excited again. Uncle, uncle, you are a great hero. Mom said my father is also a great hero. Are you my father? The little girl was childish and spoke whatever she thought of, but her little eyes were full of expectation. But at this moment, Li Hao was stunned again. What? Am I your father? Li Hao suddenly knew how to answer, mainly because he didn't want to hurt this little girl's heart. Guo, he's not your father. Didn't mother tell you? Dad is far, far away. At this time, when Zhou Yu heard what the little girl said, her expression changed slightly and became a little darker, and she immediately said to the little girl, Isn't it Dad? When the little girl heard this, her little mouth suddenly curled up, looking very unhappy, and there was also a hint of disappointment in her eyes. Zhou Yu looked at Li Hao again and said to Li Hao, I'm sorry. Guo doesn't know that his father is gone. There was a hint of apology in Zhou Yu's voice. It's okay. Li Hao's heart condensed slightly, and he immediately said, needless to say, Li Hao also knew that this little girl's father must have already burped, but he was a poor mother and daughter. If I can help, I will definitely help. Soon, several more police cars came over, and it was Xiao Yao Yao who contacted them. A group of policemen came down. Yao Yao. Yao Yao, are you okay? Where is he? Where is he? The police took immediate control of the scene and arrested the 3 Lakuas who were lying on the ground. After learning what happened here, many police officers also expressed their voices of indignation. These guys deserve to die. We caught them. How dare you catch children on the street? Do you really think we don't exist? You actually dare to grab Yao Yao's gun and attack the police? How dare you? Yao Yao, you have made a great contribution here again. How did you know that the little girl is here? Seeing that the scene was under police control and the 3 people were taken away, Li Hao immediately said to Qin Yaking and Linda. Let's go. Now that the person has been found, it's time for us to go back. Li Hao said to Qin Yaking, Linda, and others again. Qin Yaking and Linda also nodded immediately. Immediately, Li Hao sat directly on the driver's seat, Qin Yaking and Linda also got into the car, and Zhou Yu also followed. Just like that, several people headed towards Jiangbei City again. Li Hao drove Zhou Yu's mother and daughter directly to their home safely. Would you like to go up and sit for a while? Zhou Yu said enthusiastically to Li Hao and the others. But she was directly rejected by Qin Yaking. No, next time. Zhou Yu and her daughter went directly upstairs, while Li Hao drove the car to the night market, parked the borrowed Audi in a random spot, and put it into his own Mercedes-Benz. Next, Li Hao drove directly to Jiangbei No. 1 courtyard. The 3 of them just went there to eat, but they didn't expect such a thing to happen. But the result was good. The lost little girl was found. After all this, both Qin Yaking and Linda felt a little tired, especially Linda. Soon, Li Hao sent Qin Yaking and Linda to Villa No. 14. Qin Yaking and Linda are already good friends, and this is not the first time Linda has come to Villa No. 14. The entrance of the villa. Boss, why don't you take your side? There are many rooms in Yaking's villa. Linda said to Li Hao again. Don't do this. Li Hao said lightly. Linda, his villa is right next to him, and there is a beautiful woman waiting for him inside. At this time, Qin Yaking said again, with a hint of resentment in her voice. Li Hao. Wasn't this everything was fine before? No chance at all. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 297. Li Hao walked directly into his villa number 13. The villa was quiet. On the sofa, the white cat was lying curled up. When he saw Li Hao's figure, he raised his head slightly, and actually closed his eyes and fell asleep again. Damn it, I didn't even greet my master when he came back. When Li Hao saw the white cat, he immediately said directly. Li Hao ignored this guy and looked at the room upstairs. The door of the room was closed tightly, but he wanted to open it to see if Yeshiun was asleep. But looking at it this way, Yeshiun should have been sleeping. But the next moment, Li Hao's ears twitched slightly again, and a faint smile appeared on his face. Li Hao heard some footsteps from inside the room. Yeshiun was originally lying on the bed, but when she heard the sound coming from the living room of the villa, she suddenly felt happy. When she sat up from the bed, she walked to the door with bare feet, ready to open the door, but when she reached the door while speaking, Yeshiun stopped again. Humph, so many geniuses will come. However, Yeshiun suddenly thought that Li Hao had come back so many times without even making a phone call or sending a WeChat message. She immediately snorted coldly and returned to her bed, feeling sullen again. She felt that she couldn't be too proactive, she was a girl. It's best to ignore Li Hao for a while. Yeshiun didn't know that even though she was across the door, her movements were clearly felt by Li Hao. Li Hao couldn't help but have a smile on his face, and his heart was moved. Without knocking on the door, Li Hao walked directly into his room and closed the door. Next door. Yeshiun heard the sound of the door closing next door, but her pretty face turned cold again. This guy didn't even come to see her or even knock on the door. Yeshiun suddenly felt very unhappy again, pouting her pretty lips and letting out a cold snort. Li Hao lay directly on his bed, and couldn't help but think of a figure again, and thought of having a rough and tumble relationship with the other person. In Li Hao's heart, there was an inexplicable restlessness. After trying it for the first time, Li Hao felt the beauty of the beginning of human nature. But Li Hao is a monk, has strong mental power and can control himself. The night is long and I have no intention of sleeping. Li Hao couldn't help but take out his mobile phone again, clicked on Douyin and started to pass the time. Li Hao opened Douyin, and there were already thousands of messages in the message column. Li Hao actually has hundreds of thousands of fans, and many people send him private messages. The first video actually showed a beautiful woman doing a live broadcast. Huh? It's still live broadcasting at this late hour. When Li Hao saw this beautiful anchor who was live broadcasting, he couldn't help but let out a sound of surprise. Li Hao knew the beautiful anchor in the live broadcast, and was relatively familiar with it. Isn't it the Li Xiaoqian from the normal school? Li Hao has been following Li Xiaoqian for a long time, so as soon as he opened Douyin directly pushed the information to Li Hao that Li Xiaoqian was live broadcasting. In the live broadcast, Li Xiaoqian was singing, and the background seemed to be under a bridge and on the roadside. Li Xiaoqian's voice is very nice. At this moment, her fans have exceeded 1 million, and she is considered a somewhat famous internet celebrity. Just a song was sung, and people kept brushing gifts. Some people are sending sports cars, some are sending hot air balloons, and some are sending directly out of the carnival. Thank you brother Long. Thank you brother Tiger. When Li Xiaoqian saw these live broadcast brothers giving gifts, she was very happy to thank them. The number of people online watching Lee Xiaoqian's live broadcast has reached 30,000, and the popularity is also very high. There are also constant comments below the live broadcast room. However, right now, in the comments below, many people began to comment on similar content. The righteous boss Haerin is online. Brother Haerin Genki is actually online. Brother Haerin appears again. Many people have paid attention to the Douyin account of this netizen Haerin Genki. As soon as the other party came online, many people knew about it immediately. For this Haerin Genki brother, countless netizens not only admire him, but also admire him. He is such a powerful person, and he has directly given away 100 carnivals. Li Xiaoqian watched the netizens in the live broadcast room using this name, with a look of surprise in her eyes, a move in her heart, and even a hint of expectation. This Haerin Genki netizen is the big brother who gave her 100 carnival credits. The other party didn't show up for so long. Li Xiaoqian thought that the other party would never show up again. After waiting for a long time, the other party finally came again. Will he come back to his live broadcast room? Li Xiaoqian was also unsure, but she could no longer control her inner emotions. The next moment, a message appeared below Li Xiaoqian's live broadcast room. Haerin's righteousness is coming. Boom. In an instant, Li Xiaoqian's live broadcast room was filled with excitement. Welcome, boss. Welcome, boss. The boss is out. Xiaoqian, come out quickly to receive us. Xiaoqian, brother Haerin is here. I saw messages one after another flooding the screen. Welcome to our righteous brother Haerin. Li Xiaoqian also became a little excited, her pretty face turned a little rosy, and she said directly. Li Hao clicked into Xiaoqian's live broadcast room, and he did not expect that it would arouse so many netizens' excitement. Li Xiaoqian also specially welcomed him. Without saying a word, Li Hao directly poured another 500,000 into the account. The next moment, in the live broadcast room, a golden carnival special effect appeared directly, which was extremely gorgeous. Netizen Haerin Genki sent a carnival gift *1. Thank you Haerin brother for the gift. Seeing this scene, Li Xiaoqian became excited and expressed her gratitude in the video in the live broadcast room. However, another golden carnival special effect appeared in the live broadcast room. Netizen Haerin Genki sent a carnival gift *1. Another carnival is coming. Thank you brother Haerin. Li Xiaoqian said excitedly again. However, Li Xiaoqian's voice just fell. Carnival special effects appeared again on the mobile phone screen, one after another. Netizen Haerin Genki sent a carnival gift *1. Netizen Haerin Genki sent a carnival gift *1. Netizen Haerin Genki sent a carnival gift *1. Sent by Netizen Haerin Genki. The screen was full of this prompt, all carnival special effects. Boom. Damn it, Shenhao. The boss is the boss, this is just like 10 carnivals. It's really awesome. It's awesome. Xiaoqian, use the beauty trap quickly. Damn it, I'm still brushing. The entire Xiaoqian's live broadcast room was completely boiling. The popularity of Li Xiaoqian's live broadcast room skyrocketed instantly, and more people were online. Li Hao directly played 10 carnivals, just for fun, and soon became Xiaoqian's top brother at the moment, and Li Hao hasn't stopped yet. He kept giving gifts to Li Xiaoqian. Netizen Haerin Genki sent a carnival gift *1. Netizen Haerin Genki sent a carnival gift *1. Even the small speakers on the entire Douyin platform were filled with this news. After a while, the entire Douyin platform was completely shaken again. A whole 200 carnivals. This rich netizen named Haerin Genki directly sent 200 carnival coins to the anchor Xiaoqian, which made Xiaoqian's live broadcast room instantly explode in popularity and became the #1. Thank you, Brother Heron. Li Xiaoqian kept thanking her in the live broadcast room, feeling extremely excited and happy. So many carnivals. This is the most gift she has ever received. Even on the entire Douyin, you can't find anyone with more carnival gifts than she received today, right? Xiaoqian is holding her on her lap. Hurry up and pledge yourself to me. Go to bed tonight. Many netizens also kept commenting and joking. Li Hao looked at this scene, and a faint smile suddenly appeared on his face. I didn't expect that buying gifts would be so fun. No wonder some people are willing to give gifts to their favorite anchors even if they spend all their money, and they can't stop doing so. After swiping 200 carnival points for Xiaoqian and sending her to the first place, Li Hao stopped. But at this time, Li Hao's eyes were suddenly shocked again. Li Hao made a strange sound. Exclamation mark. Li Hao's eyes widened. In this live broadcast room, a prompt message actually appeared above Xiaoqian's head, and a red exclamation point appeared out of thin air above Xiaoqian's head. Isn't this the system prompt message? What is it? Not even just now? This obviously just happened. Moreover, only Li Hao could see the exclamation mark on Xiaoqian's head, and the countless water friends in the live broadcast room could not see it. Li Hao couldn't help but feel happy. Since there is a prompt, it means there is a reward. The prompt did not appear for a long time, and finally it appeared again. Unexpectedly, I was able to see system prompts while watching a live broadcast. I was lucky. I don't know what this is to remind myself. The next moment, Li Hao suddenly had an idea in his mind to read the prompt. Immediately afterwards, in the live broadcast room, the exclamation mark on Xiaoqian's head turned into a QR code as if it had been clicked by Li Hao. Follow the prompts and pay first. Still the same routine. Li Hao was also very happy. He directly recognized the QR code and then a payment interface popped up. The price hasn't changed, it's still 20,000. Li Hao paid 20,000 yuan without saying a word. Ding dong, this beauty is about to encounter a disaster. If you want to know more, please click downward arrow. Suddenly, the system mechanical sound suddenly sounded, and a prompt message popped up. When Li Hao saw this prompt message, he couldn't help but was shocked again, and his expression changed instantly. What? Are you about to encounter an unexpected disaster? What's going on? Isn't this Li Xiaoqian doing a good live broadcast? How could we encounter unexpected disasters? She seemed to be on the roadside under the bridge. Could it be that there was an accident? Hit by a car? This is what Li Hao thought might happen at this moment. But the system prompt is really short. I just said this and it was gone. Li Hao was speechless, and suddenly he could only click the downward arrow again. As expected, the QR code popped up again, and this time the payment amount became 40,000. Li Hao didn't hesitate and paid the money directly. This was a matter of life and death, and it was worth spending any money. Moreover, he knew Li Xiaoqian himself, and she was a good person. Li Hao didn't want her to encounter an accident at such a young age. Ding dong, in 15 minutes, the bridge where this beauty is located will collapse, and there are 3 overweight trucks. The system's mechanical prompt sound rang again. After seeing this prompt message, Li Hao was shocked again. What? The bridge will collapse? There is such a thing. Only 15 minutes? The situation is urgent. Moreover, there should be more than just Li Xiaoqian under this bridge, right? Li Hao immediately sent a message in the live broadcast room. Xiaoqian, show me your surroundings. As Li Xiaoqian's top brother, Li Hao was followed by countless people. As soon as the news came out, Li Xiaoqian knew it immediately. Look around me. Li Xiaoqian was stunned. Look around? What are you looking at? Is it a typo? The word Zhou should be chest? But Li Qian nodded, then picked up the camera of the live broadcast phone and scanned behind her. At the request of the eldest brother, "I'll show you what's next to me. I'm now under the Happiness Bridge. Look, there are so many young ladies live broadcasting here," Li Xiaoqian said with a smile again. "Wow, so many young ladies. Are you going to stay up all night? I'm nearby, I'll come to see you soon." Through Li Xiaoqian's live broadcast room, countless netizens immediately saw that next to Xiaoqian, there were many live broadcasts, with bright lights, leaning against the wall, broadcasting live. At first glance, there were more than 10 or 20 anchors, basically all women, all wearing beautiful makeup, or singing, or some of them were not good looking enough, and turned on the beauty filter to the highest level. Countless netizens watched the excitement through Xiaoqian's live broadcast room, but Li Hao frowned again. Because, through Xiaoqian's live broadcast room, Li Hao saw that the people next to her also had red exclamation marks on their heads. Without asking, he knew that the content of the prompt should be similar to the one on Li Xiaoqian's head just now. If so many people were to step on the bridge, the consequences would be unimaginable. This tragedy must not happen. Li Hao was determined in his heart. The next moment, Li Hao jumped off the bed directly. "White cat!" Li Hao shouted directly at the white cat, and the door opened in response. The white cat heard Li Hao's voice and rushed over immediately. Li Hao's mind moved, and the white cat understood what Li Hao meant. Boom! Then, the white cat's body instantly grew larger, turning into a majestic snow leopard, giving birth to amazing power. Li Hao jumped directly onto the white cat. The next moment, the white cat jumped directly from the balcony, and with a light jump, it had already gone 100 meters away like riding the wind. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 298. The white cat grew bigger and turned into its original form, then rushed out with Li Hao on its back, leaping away and directly crossing a distance of hundreds of meters. Then, the white cat leaped again, extremely light and swift, and in the blink of an eye, it had carried Li Hao out of the Jiangbei No. 1 courtyard. The white cat was so fast that it was even slower than driving a car. At this moment, after eating the good things refined by Li Hao, the white cat also absorbed a lot of spiritual power from spiritual stones, and was already comparable to a foundation-building cultivator. It was no longer an ordinary animal, but a spiritual beast. Spiritual beast, a spiritual beast. Li Hao just saw the system prompt from the live broadcast. In 15 minutes, the bridge where Li Xiaoqian and other internet celebrities were broadcasting would collapse, so Li Hao did not hesitate and rushed directly to this place. It was definitely too late to drive, so he temporarily let the white cat be a mount. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the dark night, a white figure kept shuttling between the high-rise buildings. Soon, Li Hao rode the white cat over a distance of more than 10 miles and came to the place where the Happy Bridge was. At this moment, 10 minutes had passed. Li Hao looked at the scene under the Happy Bridge in front of him, and his brows frowned again. He saw that there were more than 20 girls dressed neatly sitting under the bridge, lined up in a row, with dazzling lights, and were sitting and broadcasting live. Among them, there were some internet celebrities with amazing looks. It was really lively. The Happy Bridge has become a street of internet celebrities. In addition to these anchors, there are many people here, pretending to pass by casually, but in fact they are here to see these internet celebrities. There are losers everywhere, and there are especially many here. There are even some small vendors who set up stalls next to them and sell snacks. There are so many people. Li Hao's heart suddenly shook. If this bridge collapses at this moment, I'm afraid all these people under the bridge will not be spared. Li Hao took a glance and saw a familiar figure among these anchors. At this moment, Li Xiaoqian was still broadcasting live seriously, with great excitement on her face. the brother with the righteous spirit actually gave her 200 carnivals, which directly sent her to the top of the popularity list. She became popular, really popular, but she was flattered. The other party gave her 200 carnivals again. Could it be that he really liked her? What should I do if the other party wants to meet me offline? Refuse. However, after the other party sent 200 carnivals, he actually left her live broadcast room directly, as if he was offline. Just left like that. Li Xiaoqian was confused again. But at this time, everyone, get out of there. Suddenly, a huge voice came, like a thunder, echoing in everyone's ears, making everyone under the bridge of happiness startled. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice and saw a young man standing not far away, shouting at them. What's going on? When everyone heard this, they were confused and puzzled. Are you crazy? What are you shouting about? You scared me. Leave here? Why leave here? Isn't it good to watch beautiful women live broadcast? Someone said directly, with a hint of disdain in his voice, and the look in his eyes when he looked at Li Hao was more like looking at a fool. At this moment, even many female anchors looked over. Guys, a fool suddenly appeared next to us, it's okay, it's okay. I don't know what's wrong with this guy, he actually wants us to leave here. These people were broadcasting live, and Li Hao's voice naturally spread to their live broadcasts, and was heard by countless netizens, who left puzzled messages in their live broadcast rooms, and they immediately explained. These anchors seemed to have not heard Li Hao's words at all, and they ignored him completely, and the live broadcast was still live. Li Xiaoqian heard Li Hao's voice and looked over immediately. The next moment, Li Xiaoqian suddenly made a surprised sound. It turned out to be him. Because Li Xiaoqian saw that the person who made this voice was very familiar, wasn't it Li Hao? Li Xiaoqian's beautiful eyes suddenly lit up, it was the figure that often appeared in her mind. Everyone, get out of there. Li Hao saw that the crowd didn't seem to listen to his words at all, so Li Hao shouted loudly again. There is no time left. There are only 3 minutes left from the 15 minutes prompted by the system. Right now, the most important thing is to get everyone away from this bridge. If it really doesn't work, you can only use the power of cultivation, but this is the worst option. Right now, Li Hao still has to try to get everyone away from here. But at this moment, these people obviously don't listen to him. Li Hao was speechless. He couldn't just say that the bridge would collapse, right? No one would believe him then. What should he do? Li Hao thought. The next moment, an idea came to his mind. Everyone, get out of there. Look over there. At this time, Li Hao shouted loudly again, and then pointed to the other side. Everyone looked in the direction Li Hao pointed, and saw a huge beast with a bloody mouth, coming out of nowhere, slowly walking towards the bridge where these people were. Everyone was shocked, looking at the scene in front of them, and even forgot to think. An extremely powerful momentum rushed over, making people almost forget to breathe. Roar. Then, a huge roar resounded in this space, and the huge beast roared as if it wanted to eat people. What a big tiger. Is this a tiger? It looks like a leopard. Oh my god. Who cares if it's a tiger or a leopard, run. The beast is out. Everyone run. Ah. He's coming, he's coming. At this moment, screams rang out, and everyone's faces turned pale, even those anchors were instantly pale. One figure after another raised their legs and started running. Such a big beast is so scary. What if it eats people? Don't run and wait for death? Li Hao saw this scene, his expression was normal, and even a faint smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Roar. The huge white beast roared again, making a ferocious look. With a move of its feet, it rushed towards everyone, opening its huge mouth, looking very scary. Seeing this scene, the people under the bridge screamed again, horrified, and ran away at the fastest speed. Ah! Run! It's catching up! Dot. The scene became extremely chaotic, with screams. The anchors also stopped broadcasting, got up and ran away. Some people didn't even care about their mobile phones. At this moment, life is still important. Everyone, run. Keep running. It's coming. Don't get bit by it. Seeing this, Li Hao kept shouting. His voice made these people run at the speed of a 100-meter sprint. Among those people, Li Xiaoqian was also running non-stop at this moment, and her pretty face was frightened and changed color. Suddenly, she saw Li Hao, and she didn't forget to shout to Li Hao in panic. Li Hao, run! There's a tiger! Tiger! The white cat is a snow leopard, okay. Li Hao was speechless. This huge and ferocious beast is naturally a white cat. This is the method Li Hao thought of. In order to get these people to leave the bridge, Li Hao could only send the white cat to act out a play. It's impossible to eat people. The white cat just scared everyone. However, Li Hao's goal was achieved. Li Hao, run! The tiger is catching up. Li Xiaoqian didn't even dare to look behind her, and soon ran in front of Li Hao. Well, here it comes, it's going to bite your ass. Li Hao saw the scene and couldn't help but say it again, to scare the girl again. Ah! The next moment, Li Xiaoqian screamed again, and then rushed directly into Li Hao's arms. Li Hao was hit and fell soft in his arms, holding a perfect body, and couldn't help but be startled again. Don't bite me, Li Hao, I'm scared. In his arms, Li Xiaoqian hugged Li Hao tightly, and said differently, her face was pale, and she was very scared. Don't be afraid, I'm here. Li Hao also hugged Li Xiaoqian, and his hands kept stroking Li Xiaoqian's back. This embrace that was offered to him, it would be a waste not to hug. A smile appeared at the corner of Li Hao's mouth. But then, Li Hao's smile solidified, and a gleam of brilliance appeared in his eyes. Li Hao raised his head and looked at the happy bridge in the distance again. There were 3 large trucks, coming fast, approaching from far away, and soon they had arrived at the Happiness Bridge. The 3 trucks were all pulling cloths, and the cargo boxes were bulging, obviously full of goods. The next moment, the 3 trucks full of goods went on the Happiness Bridge one after another, and the distance between them was also very close. It was at this moment. The 3 trucks were on the Happiness Bridge at the same time, and their huge weight pressed on the few piers of the Happiness Bridge. Boom! A huge roar suddenly rang out, like a thunder, but it was earth-shaking, and it was heard in the area for miles. Then, everyone was shocked to see that the Happiness Bridge collapsed. The 3 trucks full of goods were moving in the same direction, and at the same time on the Happiness Bridge, the huge weight pressed on one side of the bridge, and the Happiness Bridge could not bear it and collapsed directly. Bang! The dust waves swept up. Ah! The bridge collapsed. Oh my God, so scary. Why did the bridge collapse? How horrible! Screams and exclamations continued to ring out from these people's mouths. Hiss! If we were just under the bridge. Oh my God, we escaped a disaster. Someone else took a breath of cold air, thinking of the extremely terrifying thing, but felt a sense of relief in his heart, as if he had survived a disaster. You know, these people were all under this bridge just now. If the bridge collapsed 1 minute earlier, they wouldn't be able to escape. The consequences are simply unimaginable. Fortunately, all the people under the bridge ran out and avoided this disaster. What luck! This is the thought that many people have in their minds at this moment. But thanks to that beast. Huh? Where's that tiger? You were still here just now? I don't know where you went. Did someone escape from the zoo? Call the police. It's really scary. We need to take him back quickly. But we still have to thank this tiger. If it weren't for it, we would probably be dead now. Many people said one after another. Some people directly called the police, and some people also beat Yao ER0. When a bridge collapses, that's a big deal. Although the people under the bridge ran out in time to escape the disaster, the drivers on the 3 trucks were probably in danger as well. Many people thought of the huge beast just now, but now there was no trace of it, and they couldn't help but be surprised. Li Xiaoqian was still holding Li Hao, and when she heard the huge noise behind her, she couldn't help but look behind her, and her eyes widened again when she saw the scene of the bridge collapsing behind her. Why did the bridge collapse? Li Xiaoqian murmured. It's okay. At this time, another voice came from his ears. Li Hao said softly to Li Xiaoqian. Li Xiaoqian nodded immediately, and then noticed her actions at this moment, actually hugging Li Hao tightly. In an instant, a blush appeared on Li Xiaoqian's pretty face, and then she let go of Li Hao. Thank you. Li Xiaoqian blushed and thanked Li Hao again. But at this moment, another cat Meow came from beside him. Meow. A white kitten appeared at Li Hao's feet. It was the white cat. The white cat looked at Li Hao, as if asking for credit, and actually extended a paw to Li Hao, as if asking for something. Li Hao. Li Hao was extremely speechless. This guy. Li Hao glared at the white cat, took out a foundation building pill, and threw it to the white cat. The white cat caught it directly with his mouth, then swallowed it, and then barked again with satisfaction. Meow. Wow, what a good little kitten. When Li Xiaoqian saw the white cat, she was stunned for a moment and exclaimed in amazement. As she spoke, she squatted down to pick up the white cat. The white cat did not resist at all, and looked harmless to humans and animals. It actually allowed Li Xiaoqian to hold it in her arms. Its round little head used Li Xiaoqian's chest as a pillow, with a look of enjoyment on its face. Li Hao was speechless when he saw this scene. Cute little kitty? If you knew that this guy was the beast just now, you wouldn't think so. Li Hao didn't say anything, but his eyes fell on the collapsed place again. It seemed to be in ruins at the moment, and the scene was very chaotic. In the ruins, 3 large trucks can be faintly seen. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 299. Li Hao looked under the collapsed bridge. Inside the ruins, 3 trucks were lying there faintly. Seeing this scene, Li Hao walked forward directly. Li Hao, what do you want to do? Li Xiaoqian next to her saw the scene and immediately asked Li Hao. Save people. Li Hao said lightly, but it shocked Li Xiaoqian's heart again. Immediately afterwards, Li Xiaoqian saw Li Hao going straight to the place where the collapse occurred. Ah! Be careful! Li Xiaoqian's pretty face showed a touch of worry again, and she said to Li Hao. Li Hao came directly to the edge of the ruins. Brother, go away. It's dangerous over there. What if the bridge collapses again? At this time, there were other people nearby who saw Li Hao's actions and couldn't help but kindly reminded Li Hao. Fine. Li Hao said calmly, and then turned his gaze to the ruins in front of him. In the ruins, 3 trucks were mostly buried. The fronts of the trucks were deformed, and the driver was stuck inside. He didn't know whether he was dead or alive. The next moment, a dusty figure crawled out from inside. It was the driver of one of the large trucks. At this moment, the driver's body was covered with scars, and blood was flowing down his forehead. Come out with one. It seemed that apart from some injuries, his life was not in danger. There are 2 more. And the situation was not optimistic. Li Hao felt that the 2 people were seriously injured and were still buried underneath. If they didn't get it quickly, they might not be able to hold on for a while. And at this time, the dust waves all over the sky have not dispersed, making the vision of everyone around them a little blurry and unable to see clearly the specific situation inside. In the eyes of everyone, Li Hao rushed towards the waves of dust regardless of his own safety. A moment later, everyone saw Li Hao dragging two bodies covered in blood out. Oh my God, he rescued those two drivers. Hero. What a nice guy. When everyone saw Li Hao rescuing the two drivers from the collapsed ruins of the bridge, they immediately let out a sound of exclamation. In their opinion, Li Hao was really a good man who acted bravely for justice. Ah! The next moment, Li Hao looked at the two guys he dragged out. The blood on their bodies was flowing desperately, and they even looked like they were about to burp at any time after losing too much blood. Seeing this scene, Li Hao's heart suddenly moved, and a jade needle appeared in his hand. It is Tianqian 9 needles. Although these three guys drove a large truck and crushed the bridge, it was overweight and illegal. However, these three people also have no choice but to make money to support their families. If they can be saved, Li Hao will naturally not ignore them. Immediately afterwards, Li Hao directly activated his cultivation, injected spiritual power into the jade needle, and pierced one of the people on the ground directly. Then Li Hao took out a second jade needle and pierced the guy next to him in almost the same way. Li Hao's movements were fast and smooth. Tianxuan's 9 needles came out, and 6 of them were inserted into the bodies of the two drivers. Soon, the blood on the two drivers was stopped at a speed visible to the naked eye. In their bodies, there was a touch of spiritual power injected by Li Hao to continue to vitalize and repair the injured internal organs of the two. At this time, the sound of a police car rang again, and the police arrived, and then immediately took control of the entire scene. Oh my God, why did the bridge collapse? I remember there are people doing live broadcasts under this bridge, right? Hurry and save people. How many people are there down there? When the police who arrived at the scene saw this scene, their expressions became very solemn. Such a large bridge collapsed at the scene, and many people below may have suffered. Even the police rushed up. It's dangerous here, everyone, get away. If nothing happens, we'll disperse. There are other people waiting, don't stay here. This is the scene of the accident. There were also police who directly set up a cordon, others were evacuating the surrounding crowd of onlookers, and some police officers were investigating the scene of the accident. Is there anyone else down there? Start digging quickly. Have the search and rescue dogs arrived? Is there anyone buried down there? The police came to the ruins, thinking that there were still people buried under the ruins, and immediately launched a rescue operation. However, at this moment, there was a voice coming from the side. No need to dig. There is no one down there. The drivers of the 3 trucks have also been rescued, right here. The person who spoke out was naturally Li Hao. What? Already rescued? There's no one down there? How is this possible? Brother, are you sure? I remember that there are often people under this bridge. There are many anchors here. When these policemen heard Li Hao's words, they were stunned for a moment, and then looked at Li Hao again, with a touch of surprise in their eyes. Officer, what he said is true. There was no one under the bridge. Even the 3 drivers whose car overturned were rescued by him. What a coincidence. A man-eating tiger appeared before. I don't know where it came from. It scared everyone under the bridge away. Officer, you don't know. That's a white tiger, it's scary. What white tiger? It's clearly a leopard. It's 2 or 3 meters long. I wonder if it ran out of the zoo. Go find it quickly. At this time, the people around them spoke up again. Hearing these people's words, the police in front of them were confused again. What? Tiger? Just scared everyone away from under the bridge. Is it such a coincidence? Is it a white tiger or a leopard? The police were very surprised, but they asked some people around them and confirmed one thing. A white beast really appeared just now and scared these people away from under the bridge. Coincidence generally prevented these people from suffering from abnormal disasters. And now, the beast has disappeared again. It's really strange. At this time, 2 more ambulances arrived at the scene. From the ambulances, 2 or more medical staff got off, including emergency doctors and nurses. When the emergency doctor and nurse came to Li Hao's side and saw the injuries on the 2 drivers, their faces froze. So much blood had been lost, and there were many fatal wounds on the chest, abdomen, and even the head and neck. Their hearts sank even more. Even looking at this, they were afraid that they were in danger. However, when the emergency doctor squatted down to check the 2 seriously injured drivers, he suddenly made a sound of surprise. He found that the 2 people were not dead yet, and their breathing was very stable. Even the fatal wounds on their bodies had stopped bleeding. The emergency doctor was the director of the emergency department, named Zhang Lin. He had rich experience in emergency treatment. He happened to be on duty tonight and encountered such a thing, so he rushed over immediately. At this moment, Zhang Lin was shocked when he saw the physical condition of the 2 drivers. How is this possible? Based on Zhang Lin's countless practical experience, the injuries of the 2 drivers were fatal, and they were clearly on the verge of death. They were in great danger. However, the reality at the moment was that although the 2 drivers were seriously injured, they were not in any life-threatening situation. This needle. The next moment, Zhang Lin also noticed the jade needles piercing the 2 people, and his eyes widened immediately. This is the magic of acupuncture in traditional Chinese medicine. Zhang Lin was shocked, and he immediately realized that the reason why the 2 people on the ground did not die should be the effect of these jade needles. What a magical method! Zhang Lin couldn't help but exclaimed, and then looked at the young man in front of him and asked him, "Brother, did you do this?" Hearing the words of the emergency doctor, Li Hao nodded lightly. "Well, I think they are going to die, so I simply stopped the bleeding. Since you are here, I will leave it to you. They should not be in any danger of life," Li Hao said directly, but Zhang Lin was shocked again. It was really done by the young man in front of him. The jade needle was pierced by the young man in front of him. This young man actually knows the magic of acupuncture? Zhang Lin looked at Li Hao with a strange look in his eyes. In Zhang Lin's opinion, the medical skills of the young man in front of him are probably better than his. The next moment, Zhang Lin saw that the young man directly pulled out the jade needles on the 2 people. Hey! Zhang Lin was about to stop him, but the jade needles had been pulled out by the other party. Just when Zhang Lin was worried that the 2 people would have some problems again, he saw that the 2 people did not react at all, their breathing was still stable, and except for their pale faces, they were just like a simple coma. "Lift them into the car," Zhang Lin immediately said to the other paramedics beside him. "Director, don't you want to deal with it first?" A nurse said to Zhang Lin next to him. "No need, didn't you see that their bleeding has stopped?" Soon, the 2 seriously injured drivers were lifted into the ambulance and sent to the hospital. The other driver who was less injured was taken away by the police for investigation after a simple treatment of the wound. Li Hao walked towards Li Xiaoqian again. At this time, many eyes fell on Li Hao. "Brother, you are really good. Good job. Contemporary hero." Many people looked at Li Hao and praised him. Even Li Xiaoqian, at this moment, had a gleam in her beautiful eyes, and there was more admiration in her eyes when she looked at Li Hao. "So handsome. It's so late, and you are still live streaming? Aren't you going back to school?" Li Hao came to Li Xiaoqian and said to her. I'm used to that." Li Hao, why are you here? Li Xiaoqian was stunned when she heard what Li Hao said, and then she asked Li Hao. I can't sleep. I came here to watch your live broadcast. Li Hao said lightly. But when Li Hao's words fell into Li Xiaoqian's ears, Li Xiaoqian's pretty face instantly flushed again. Li Hao couldn't sleep because he was watching her live broadcast? Is this a disguised confession to her? Li Xiaoqian's heart was beating like a deer, and she didn't know what to say while holding the white cat. But thinking of this, Li Xiaoqian thought of that Heiran Genki brother again. Li Hao had been watching his live broadcast before, so didn't he also see that Heiran Genki brother give him gifts? Are you still acting so happy? Will he be unhappy? Will you be jealous? For a time, Li Xiaoqian thought a lot in her mind, and she was actually afraid that Li Hao would be jealous because Brother Peng gave her a gift. No. In future live broadcasts, no matter what, you can't show too much excitement. No matter how many carnivals that big brother Heiran Genki gave her, she would not agree to any of his requests. Li Xiaoqian said to herself firmly in her heart. Facts have proved that Li Xiaoqian thought too much and went too far. If Li Hao found out, he would probably say, will I be jealous of myself? Li Hao, then I won't broadcast live tonight. Li Xiaoqian immediately smiled at Li Hao and said with an amazing smile. Li Hao nodded and said again. Let's go, it's so late, I'll take you back. Hearing Li Hao's words, Li Xiaoqian suddenly felt a sense of joy in her heart and responded immediately. Okay. Li Hao, are you driving? Li Xiaoqian asked. No. Li Hao said weakly again. He came out on a mount, so he couldn't let the white cat grow bigger and carry the two of them back. Well. Li Xiaoqian was stunned for a moment, but she didn't care and said again. Then let's walk back. My school is not far from here anyway. Jiangbei Normal University is not far from here, only 3 or 4 miles away. If you walk back, you can stay with Li Hao for a while. Li Hao nodded indifferently. After all, he was a monk and didn't want to sleep at all. As a result, the two of them walked towards Jiangbei Normal University as if taking a walk. The two walked side by side, step by step without saying anything. Li Xiaoqian's pretty face was always flushed, but she was very confused, and at a loss in her heart. Seeing that Li Hao didn't say a word, Li Xiaoqian felt vaguely disappointed in her heart. The most important thing was that Li Hao looked like a piece of wood and didn't move at all. I don't know how to take the initiative. The two of them just walked like this, the atmosphere seemed a little awkward, but they really didn't say anything. The two walked slowly, getting closer and closer to Jiangbei Normal University. Just when I was about to reach the entrance of the normal school, 4 drunken figures staggered over. They were 4 middle-aged men, obviously drunk, and 2 of them were shirtless. SHH. The 4 people came toward Li Hao and saw Li Hao and Li Hao. At this time, one of them whistled at Li Haoli and Li Haoli. Hey, beauty. Are you going out on a date with your boyfriend? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip. Report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 300. / Beautiful girl. Are you going out on a date with your boyfriend? 4 men, reeking of alcohol, rushed towards Li Hao and Li Xiaoqian, smelling extremely bad. One of the men looked at Li Xiaoqian and said frivolously, with a look of evil in his eyes. You are so beautiful, you are walking on the street with your boyfriend in the middle of the night. Beauty, your boyfriend doesn't even have money to rent a room, right? Come on, beautiful girl, go out with us to have some fun. Suddenly, the other 2 men next to this man also looked at Li Xiaoqian, their eyes lit up. Huh? This woman seems to be an internet celebrity. I've seen her vibrato before. At this time, the other man suddenly made another surprised sound, recognizing that Li Xiaoqian was an internet celebrity anchor. What? Internet celebrity? So she's an internet celebrity? No wonder she's so beautiful. Internet celebrities are even better. So cool. The other three men grinned and said. As they spoke, the four drunken men had already walked in front of Li Hao and Li Xiaoqian, blocking their way. When Li Xiaoqian saw this scene, especially when she heard what the four men said, her face suddenly changed. Beauty, come on, play with us brothers. At this time, one of the men teased Li Xiaoqian and even stretched out his hand to grab Li Xiaoqian directly. Ah! Li Xiaoqian screamed, but a big hand beside her grabbed Li Xiaoqian's hand and pulled it aside. Immediately, Li Xiaoqian dodged the other party's action and leaned against Li Hao's side. Ouch! Don't you give me face. Boy, are you looking for death? Seeing this scene, the man who was caught by Li Xiaoqian suddenly said in a stern voice, making a ferocious look, as if he was going to attack Li Hao. Hey, brother Mang, don't be angry, look at me. At this time, another thin man next to him pulled the man. The thin man immediately took the initiative to stand up again, but looked at Li Hao. Brother, give me Chen Zhenyi's a face and let your girlfriend accompany us for one night. Money is not a problem. The thin man immediately said to Li Hao proudly, his voice was full of pride and arrogance. When Li Hao heard what the other party said, his eyes condensed, but he looked at the guy named Chen Zhenyi coldly without saying anything. Chen Zhenyi? Li Hao had never heard of the other party's name at all. How about 100,000? As long as you let this girlfriend accompany us for one night, I will give you 100,000 directly. How about it? The man named Chen Zhenyi saw that Li Hao did not speak, and immediately said again. However, Li Hao still did not speak, his eyes were cold. 150,000. How about 150,000? Chen Zhenyi immediately thought that the guy in front of him thought the money was too little, and immediately said again. In his opinion, 150,000 was a lot. Even if he went to call the princess, he could call many people, and the guy in front of him definitely had no reason to refuse. Get lost. However, at this moment, a cold voice came directly from Li Hao's mouth, like a thunder. Li Hao's eyes were extremely cold, filled with a touch of coldness, as if he wanted to kill someone. You're looking for death. If you don't accept my toast, you'll be punished. You dare to talk to me like that, I'll kill you. Do you know who I am? Don't you want to live? I'm going to take care of you today. As soon as Li Hao said this, the men got angry and spoke to Li Hao angrily again. They actually rushed towards Li Hao and started fighting. When Li Hao saw this scene, his eyes burst out with fierceness again. If you don't get out, then you'll die. Li Hao said again in a stern voice, and then a burst of power burst out from Li Hao's body. The next moment, Li Hao's figure moved. Bang bang bang. In an instant, several dull sounds rang out. Ah! Ah! Suddenly, screams rang out in this space. These four drunken men were naturally no match for Li Hao. In the blink of an eye, they were knocked to the ground by Li Hao. Li Xiaoqian, who was standing next to him, was shocked when she saw this scene. She didn't expect Li Hao to do it directly, and it was so powerful. She didn't even see how Li Hao did it, and the four drunk guys were already knocked to the ground. Li Xiaoqian looked at Li Hao with a strange look in her eyes. Handsome. Li Hao is so handsome. It hurts me to death. You dare to hit me? Ah! Boy, you're in big trouble, I won't forgive you. On the ground, the four drunks kept screaming, wailing, and even talking to Li Hao angrily, and even threateningly. He. Hearing this, Li Hao couldn't help but sneer again, and his laughter was full of disdain. "You dare to touch my woman? What if I kill you?" Li Hao said coldly again, and Li Xiaoqian, who was standing next to him, was trembling in her heart when she heard Li Hao's words. Li Hao actually said that she was his woman. Ha ha! This guy actually dares to kill me? Do you dare? Do you know who I am? Do you have the guts? When Chen Zhenyi's heard what Li Hao said, he sneered again. When Li Hao heard this, his eyes turned cold again, and he said lightly, "I don't know. I don't need to know who you are." Then, Li Hao took a step forward and came in front of Chen Zhenyi's, looking down at Chen Zhenyi's, as if looking at an ant. When Chen Zhenyi saw Li Hao's eyes, his expression couldn't help but tremble again, and he felt a chill inexplicably, from head to toe. The next moment, Chen Zhenyi instantly felt that his neck was pinched tightly by a pair of powerful hands. Chen Zhenyi's heart suddenly gave rise to a touch of horror and disbelief. Does the other party really dare to do it? A feeling of suffocation filled Chen Zhenyi's body, and Chen Zhenyi felt the extreme chill at this moment. Chen Zhenyi struggled hard, trying to break free from the other party's hand, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't break free. Chen Zhenyi was really scared and felt that real death was about to come. The other party looked at him with great contempt. In his eyes, he was like an ant that could be crushed to death at any time. "Don't." Chen Zhenyi spoke with difficulty, but his neck was tightly pinched and he couldn't speak. But although Chen Zhenyi was afraid in his heart, he had drunk a lot of wine and his temper was also rising at this moment. He still didn't believe that the other party really dared to attack him. "I am a member of the Chen family. You can't kill me. You dare not kill me." Chen Zhenyi stared at Li Hao, and squeezed out a voice with difficulty, and said fiercely, "Ha ha! Dare not kill you." Hearing the other party's words, Li Hao laughed faintly again, and his voice was full of sarcasm. "In that case, I'll fulfill your wish over there." Li Hao said faintly again, his voice was filled with extreme chillness. "Ka." Then, a crisp sound suddenly rang out. Li Hao exerted force with his hand and directly strangled Chen Zhenyi's neck. Blood gushed out of Chen Zhenyi's mouth. Bang! The next moment, Li Hao directly released Chen Zhenyi's neck, and Chen Zhenyi's body fell to the ground weakly, no longer breathing. "Die!" Chen Zhenyi widened his eyes. Even if he died, he would not believe that he would die in the hands of the other party. The other party actually dared to kill him. This was Chen Zhenyi's last thought, accompanied by despair and regret, but everything was too late. "Ah!" There was a scream from the side. It was Li Xiaoqian's voice. "Li Hao! Did you kill him?" Li Xiaoqian asked Li Hao in disbelief. "What else?" Li Hao said lightly. When Li Xiaoqian heard Li Hao's words, she was suddenly shocked, her body trembled, and she felt like she was about to lose her balance. Li Hao actually killed someone? What to do? What to do? Li Xiaoqian was in a panic, not knowing what to do. You actually killed Chen Zhenyi. Boy, you're in big trouble. You're dead, you're dead. You actually dared to kill Chen Zhenyi, the Chen family will not let you go. Just wait." The remaining three men were shocked when they saw that Chen Zhenyi was killed like this, and they did not forget to threaten Li Hao. Kill him, what can you do to me?" However, after hearing the other party's words, Li Hao said coldly again, and his voice was full of incomparable pride. "Just an ant, kill him, these three people actually dared to threaten him. I will not only kill him, I will also kill you. Are you afraid?" Li Hao's voice fell coldly into the ears of the three men again, but it made their faces become extremely horrified, and a trace of fear arose in their hearts. "Ah! Don't kill me. I was wrong, don't kill me." At this time, the three of them sobered up instantly, and all of them begged for mercy from Li Hao. It's too late. I never accept threats. So, you can go on your way with peace of mind. Li Hao said coldly again. However, at this moment, Li Hao looked at Li Xiaoqian beside him again. Don't be afraid. Close your eyes. Li Hao directly pulled Li Xiaoqian's hand again, and with a little force, he pulled Li Xiaoqian's body into his arms, and then looked behind. Li Xiaoqian was hugged by Li Hao, and her delicate body trembled. Although she was extremely worried in her heart, she still closed her eyes very obediently. Immediately afterwards, Li Hao looked at the three people coldly again, and a powerful cultivation force was instantly activated. Li Hao pointed at the three people. Instantly, a strong impact fell on the three people. Puff. The sound of vomiting blood suddenly resounded. Crackling. At this moment, a thunder seemed to appear between heaven and earth, and the sound of thunder echoed in the entire space. Then, an extremely violent and destructive force fell directly on the hands of the three people. Bang! The next moment, the hands of the three people actually exploded directly and were burned to pieces by the thunder. Ah! Ah! Screams suddenly came out of the mouths of the three people. Their hands were crippled. The three people were extremely desperate. The other party actually didn't kill them, but crippled their hands. This is more painful than killing them directly. The three of them screamed and fainted from the pain. Next to him, Chen Zhenyi's, whose neck had just been strangled by Li Hao, now didn't even have a body, and his whole body was really shattered into pieces. No, it would be more appropriate to say that it was wiped out in ashes. Li Hao hugged Li Xiaoqian and walked forward from the side, completely ignoring the three guys on the ground. Li Hao, what should we do? You killed someone. Will the police arrest you? In Li Hao's arms, Li Xiaoqian raised her head and said to Li Hao with a worried look. Li Hao killed someone. Even though it was for her, he still killed someone. Li Xiaoqian didn't know what to do and was very panicked. Don't worry, nothing will happen. However, when Li Hao saw Li Xiaoqian like this, he said calmly, with a smile even appearing on his face, but his voice was filled with incomparable confidence. So what if I kill him? This world is, after all, a world where strength is respected. Have a good sleep. You will forget everything just now. Li Hao looked at Li Xiaoqian again, rubbed Li Xiaoqian's head again, and said softly, his voice made Li Xiaoqian extremely reassured. At the same time, a force of cultivation entered Li Xiaoqian's body, which not only relieved Li Xiaoqian's physical fatigue, but also shocked Li Xiaoqian's head, but she completely forgot what happened just now. Li Xiaoqian nodded, then walked into the normal school gate obediently, and went directly back to the dormitory. At this time, the white cat appeared from the side again, and then transformed into its true form. Li Hao jumped directly onto the white cat's back and said lightly again. Let's go. Suddenly, the white cat stepped on the wind and clouds and jumped away. Ding dong, saved the lives of 33 people, congratulations to the host, received the reward, a winery, address, romantic country, the God transformation pill recipe. But at this moment, a mechanical voice suddenly sounded in Li Hao's mind, which shocked Li Hao's whole body. This is the system prompt sound. The reward has arrived. Hearing this reward, Li Hao was pleasantly surprised again. A winery in a romantic country. There is no need to think too much about the value, it will definitely not be less. Most importantly, the system actually rewarded me with another elixir recipe. Transformation pill. As the name suggests, there is no need to think about what effect this elixir has. In the realm of cultivation, after building the foundation and forming the elixir, you can become a god. Don't call it the realm of a master if you transform into a god. You can truly stand at the top of the continent and the world. Unexpectedly, the system actually rewarded this directly. Li Hao was extremely excited and surprised. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 301. A huge amount of information poured directly into Li Hao's mind. It was this formula of the God transformation pill that Li Hao had memorized. Li Hao is now in the late stage of pill formation and is not far from the realm of God transformation. Li Hao sat directly on the white cat's back and returned to Jiangbei No. 1 courtyard. The next day, Li Hao got up early again and made breakfast. The door to the room upstairs opened and Ye Xiun walked out. Today, Ye Xiun is still wearing a white cheongsam. The cheongsam has patterns and looks extremely delicate. It also reveals Ye Xiun's perfect figure. Beautiful. So beautiful. When Ye Xiun saw the breakfast on the table, her expression couldn't help but move, and there was a wave of emotion in her heart. Are you up? When Li Hao saw Ye Xiun, a smile appeared on his face and he said softly, "Why are you back?" When Ye Xiun heard Li Hao's voice, she said it calmly, and her voice was filled with a feeling of being thousands of miles away. Li Hao was stunned when he heard Ye Xiun's words. Li Hao heard a sour taste in the other party's voice. "This is my house, okay." Li Hao was speechless and said weakly, "Then I'm leaving." When Ye Xiun heard Li Hao's words, her pretty face turned cold again and she said directly. After saying that, Ye Xiun said nothing and prepared to walk out of the villa with her small bag in hand. It's really baffling. Let's have breakfast anyway. Li Hao immediately said again. Don't want to eat? Ye Xiun glared and said coldly. It's not good for your health if you don't eat breakfast. Li Hao asked Ye Xiun again with concern. I want you to take care of it. Ye Xiun snorted again, still looking angry. As she spoke, she walked out the door very fast, not wanting to talk to Li Haduo at all. Look at your feet. Li Hao was speechless. He didn't know what had offended her. He was so disrespectful and even got up to make breakfast in vain. But at this moment, when Ye Xiun walked to the door, there was one of Ye Xiun's shoes casually placed in the middle on the ground. Ye Xiun didn't pay attention and happened to step on the shoe. Ye Xiun's ankle was also twisted. Ah! A scream suddenly came from Ye Xiun's mouth. Ye Xiun's ankle was twisted, and her whole body became unstable and was about to fall to the side. When Li Hao saw this scene, his body moved instantly and turned into an afterimage, appearing directly next to Ye Xiun. Ye Xiun's beauty turned pale and she thought she was going to fall down. But the next moment, Ye Xiun felt a pair of hands hugging her waist. What caught Ye Xiun's eyes was a handsome face. Are you okay? Li Hao asked Ye Xiun softly. At this moment, Li Hao put his arms around Ye Xiun's slender waist and held Ye Xiun in his arms to prevent Ye Xiun from falling down. Ye Xiun couldn't help but be startled, but immediately, Ye Xiun's pretty face turned red involuntarily. Ashamed. It's okay. Ye Xiun said weakly, then stood up to break away from Li Hao's arms, and stubbornly wanted to continue walking out the door. But, just take a step. Ah! Another scream came from Ye Xiun's mouth. There was a sharp pain in my ankle, and it was obvious that it had just been sprained. Li Hao quickly supported Ye Xiun again. Don't move. Your ankle is sprained. Let me take a look. When Li Hao saw this scene, he said to Ye Xiun again. I want you to take care of it. Ye Xiun pouted and said to Li Hao, and even wanted to break away from Li Hao's hand. Li Hao was speechless. He was injured and still had to take care of himself. Well. Li Hao couldn't help but sigh again. Don't move. Li Hao said sternly, and hugged Ye Xiun directly regardless of the situation. Princess hug. Ah! Ye Xiun was picked up by Li Hao, and her pretty face was extremely blushing. She had never been held by a boy as a princess in her entire life. The next moment, Li Hao directly carried Ye Xiun to the sofa. "What are you up to?" Ye Xiun blushed with embarrassment and asked Li Hao with wide eyes. Li Hao paused directly in front of her, then took off her shoes and held her feet in his hands. Li Hao gently squeezed Ye Xiun's ankle. "Ah, it hurts." Suddenly, Ye Xiun's face changed color again, and she made an extremely painful sound. "It's already a little swollen," Li Hao said lightly, and then a smile appeared on his face. "Don't worry, it's not a big problem, I'll just give you a shot and you'll be fine." After Li Hao finished speaking, he had already taken out another jade needle, which was one of the 9 Tianqian needles. The next moment, a touch of cultivation spiritual power was injected into the jade needle, directly piercing Ye Xiun's injured ankle. In an instant, Ye Xiun felt a cold, very comfortable feeling on her ankle, which was still in severe pain just now. After a few minutes, "All right." Li Hao put away the jade needle and said calmly. "Huh? It doesn't seem to hurt anymore, nor is it swollen." "Li Hao, you are so awesome." Ye Xiun looked at her ankle and said to Li Hao in surprise. Immediately afterwards, Ye Xiun stood up and gave it a try. The ankle she had just twisted was completely healed and no longer hurts at all. "Let's eat. Wait for me to go to school together," Li Hao said to Ye Xiun again. "Well, do you still know how to go to school? You said yourself that you haven't gone to class for how many days? If it weren't for this girl, you might have been expelled." Ye Xiun heard Li Hao's words, but she glared at Li Hao and said that she was still acquainted with the leaders of the school and asked for leave for Li Hao. Otherwise, Li Hao might have been expelled long ago if he had missed so many classes. "Well, I really have to thank you. I'll treat you to milk tea later." Li Hao was startled. No wonder he hadn't gone to class for so long and nothing happened. The counselor didn't even call to ask. I bet it was Ye Xiun who helped him solve the problem. Li Hao immediately smiled at Ye Xiun and said, "Humph. Stingy. A wealthy man with a net worth of tens of billions only treats himself to milk tea. Milk tea is also fine, but I want to add pearls." Hearing Li Hao's words, Ye Xiun gave Li Hao a big eye roll, but she was no longer angry at Li Hao for not coming back for so many days. "Okay." Li Hao also responded with a smile. So, the two sat down again and had breakfast together. Then, Li Hao drove his Lamborghini Poison, took Ye Xiun, and drove straight to Jiangbei University.